Bashers. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Friday night. It's March 7th at 6:01 p.m. I'm a minute late. How are you? Sorry, Dean. I know how you like me to be as punctual as possible. But good evening, everybody. And let's see who got in there at number one. It's Kyle Pena. Happy Friday to all. He got his Thunder Bash. He got that in the mail. And that was a clean win if I've ever seen one. Holy smokes. Is this definitely 100%? It's definitely 100%. And I went on at regular time yesterday in case you went to bed, and got your beauty sleep. I'm sure you're looking quite beautiful. He's got a new thumbnail with headphones. Look at him looking pretty. Look at you in the wilderness where he lives. I've had my beauty sleep. Good to hear. Great to hear. Indeed. And Glen Parker is the place to be. Farm living. Evening all. Hope everyone is having a great start to the weekend. I hope so too. This was a pretty week for a lot of you. You guys write me, I know, Basherdirk@gmail.com. That's Basherdirk@gmail.com. That's how you send me your pictures, your notes, your Dirk, I hate this. Dirk, I love this. Wednesday and coming back. And all your favorite guest stars. But it's Friday night, so anything could possibly happen. The big guy didn't do Who Needs a Drink tonight. And he's working on one of his epic videos, so I'm sure that that's taken up a lot of his time. So hopefully he'll join us when he can. And then I have opened up a bottle of wine. It's from 2008. It's a Medoc. It's good, but it ain't as good as the wine I had the other night with James M. That's for sure. Jimmy M. And I drank some serious wine the other night. We drank some Clerc Million, which is fabulous. And that was terrific. Thank you, Glenn Farker. I forgot my metal horns. Well, metal horns to you. Straight up, buddy. Up the irons, as they say in Haute Blois. RP 1960s here. Peace and love. Peace and love to you, RP 1960, our resident millinery guy. Great to see you in the room. And the classic Dave Fahrenheit 451 is here. Hey, and he upvoted. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Dave, thanks so much. Thanks for being the upvotes. Right down there, if you like the show, if you like being a part of this community. We like watches. We like cats. I'm wearing my Speedy tonight. I was wearing my Millie all day long, but I decided Speedy needs a little bit of love. I only do it on Tuesdays on the show. I mix and match because, I've been lucky enough to have been the recipient of a lot of generosity, and I want to just show off my wares. I'm drinking some Drew B coffee out of my Handsome Joe mug. I've got some Scotty Love Riedels ready for the Medoc. Cheers to you, all the iBashers of the world. You guys rule. Without you, I'm absolutely nothing. The first super chat of the night is from our own Andrew Wolkowicz. Hopefully everyone had a great week and a better weekend to come. Hear, hear. Inspire others, become a Patreon, and upvote and subscribe. Thank you, my dearest. Hope you're here live because we miss you when you're not. Super Chat Gong belongs to him. Daniel Gutierrez wants to know if Dean is still going. He's going. That guy doesn't know when to stop. He's a machine. I don't think he sleeps at all. I think he sleeps with his eyes open. Melly C, the beautiful one, is here. Happy Friday, beautiful people. Happy Friday to you, our beautiful, beautiful ambassador of love. Thank you so much, our darling. Dean, Daniel, I'm still on Tim's stream. Dean had his beauty sleep. No holds barred. Yeah, Timmy's ripping it up in London town, right? I saw a little bit of them enjoying some hummus. Looks like some Mediterranean fare. I didn't see what kind of wine they're having. Hopefully it's like a really great Mediterranean wine. I would imagine that it probably is. Dean with a £9.99 super chat. Thank you, Dino. We all need to keep the lights on. Thank you, my friend. Indeed. Without you, I am nothing. That's all I have to say. This has been an incredible adventure for me so far. I've said it a million times. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. The winter is always kind of crap. There's not a lot of walkabouts, not a lot of excitement. I will tell you what I'm wearing, by the way. I'm wearing my M7 and absolutely loving it. Thank you, you colossal, beautiful woman. Thank you so very much for that. This is my box of stuff. I still haven't been able to go all the way through this yet. It's just absolutely crazy. The Jocelyn Bittenbender box. So much stuff to go through. But I'm wearing the authentic, real, the original formulation of M7. And I gave this a sniffy sniff the other day. This is the homage. I guess it's like if you got an homage Rolex or Omega. But they do that in fragrances. And this is called D7. You can see it. for the most part. If there's a little bit of blue, so you won't see anything that's blue. That's why I don't wear blue on the show unless I have my green screen on, which I can wear blue. Then I can't wear green. Kind of a pain in the ass, but this stuff is pretty good. But man, I'm wearing the real McCoy, and let me tell you something. I just feel like me. I just feel like me when I wear M7, and I'm going to wear it so sparingly because it'll probably be the last piece of juice anybody's ever seen, because M7 is not possible to find. Dino, thank you for keeping my lights on. It's folks like you that are just incredible. Thank you so very much. Let's give you something great for that, because 9 pounds is like $20 in the United States of America. Let's go Super Chat Gone Guy. Because he needs love too. And that's all I have to say about him. Ken Furby's here. Hi all. Big thanks to Panel Power for the first place gift, and to Dirk for a stirring rendition of Thunder Bash. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed it. You changed it. You've got Stanley Kubrick there now, or Kubrick, depending on how you like to say it or how you don't like to say it. I always say Stanley Kubrick, but it's probably Kubrick. What do the Brits say? He was English, right? Was he English? He was English, right? Or he was American. And he lived in England. Is he American? Jeez, I'm stupid, right? Stanley Kubrick. You know what? I feel like an idiot for not knowing that. He's American, yeah. But he's like my friend Michael Kamen, the incredible orchestrator, songwriter, wrote a bunch of #1 hits with Bryan Adams, and did Kate Bush and Pink Floyd and Queensryche and so many other luminaries, and Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. I didn't grow up across the street from him. I grew up across the street from his parents, so I knew him that way. He was much older than me, so he moved out early and went straight to London and lived there and operated out of London. Because like a lot of musicians, it's a beautiful place, great studios, great studios, and incomparable musicians. And there's just an ethos there. There's a thing there in England for getting the job done. You think of Abbey Road, you think of Olympic, you think of SARM, you think of Metropolis, you think of all these amazing studios that they have there. We don't have very many left, and we started losing them a long time ago. But it's crazy. You're very welcome, Ken. You deserve it so much. It nearly inspired me to squeeze back into the wetsuit for one more mission. Don't worry, I'll save. You look great in a wetsuit. I wish I could say I'd look that great. You know, they're very tightening. They make everybody look very ripped and buff. So it's great, and enjoy that. The SS United States is eventually going to be something to dive to. Maybe I'll learn how to dive just so I can go and visit her, because, unfortunately, that's where she's going, to the brink. But in the name of Blofeld, update and subscribe. It's essential. It is. If you like the show, you like being a part of a bunch of people. We're going to get a little drunk later on, and that's how we do. I want a special shout out to my nephew, Mike, who's been helping me out this week. Mike, I love you. You're the greatest thing ever in the whole wide world. He's interesting, funny, tall, handsome, and charming. Yeah, he's tall for my family. He's like 6'4", 6'5". He's a big guy, and he's a lawyer. He's very smart and very, very funny. So thanks, Mike, for everything you do for me. You're incredible. I don't know what I could do for you. I don't know. Something. I'll get you another bottle of whiskey. Not that that's anything. Him and his beautiful family, they're incredible. Ray, interesting evening, and now it gets better. Got to admit, it's getting better. It's getting better all the time. It couldn't get no worse. Little John in there. It does. Hopefully it gets better. Hitesh C is in the room. Happy Friday, all. Please remember to upvote. Yeah, please remember to upvote if you can. And Franco Fiore says the same exact thing. You have no idea what a difference that makes to just hit that thumbs up button. What it does for the algorithm is it puts us in categories and places that people might not see us. We talk about music, we talk about cats, we talk about watches, we talk about everything pretty much on the show. The show it's like Seinfeld. It's a show about nothing. And Thursday and Friday is just a day where we wing it, and then the big guy comes on, we open up a bottle of wine. We might talk about things that are upsetting. We might not. Who knows? And I guess as Carolyn Martin would say, who cares? I mean, who cares? Who fucking cares? I don't care. You care? Who knows? But I care. I do at the end of the day. Mart is here in the beautiful Bronson. iBashers Friday is here. iBashers is here again. The skies of love are blue again. So we sing a song of cheer again. Basher Fridays are here again. Thank you so much, beautiful Bronson, and the beautiful Mark, too, and Handsome Joe, TGIF. Are you working? Oh, man. I hope it's almost Miller time for you. That means go get a drink. The gorgeous Louise is here. Hi, honey. Always look cheerful. Always look happy. The beautiful second half, the other half, the better half, as they say, with our Irish flag flowing proudly there. Good evening, Dirk, and all the Bashers. Good evening to you, Louise. I better open up another bottle of wine. Well, it's later for you guys. Geez, what time is it in England right now? Is it 11, 12 at night? God, I guess we should start earlier, right? Would that be fun? I don't know. Speaking of other halves, there he is. Irish flag again with a beautiful Christopher Ward. Hello, Dirk, and all the Bashers. Hello to you, Fergal. Great to see you in the room. Dean says, hey, Fergal, and the beautiful Sharon. Always a beauty to behold on our show. She's having a martini. I hope you really are. I hope you are. I'm going to open up a little bit of tipple in just a little bit. And Nathaniel Hannon, the smartest guy in the room. And I say that with all humility. He's the smartest guy I think I've ever met. He's a very bright, handsome young lad, world traveler, and fascinator, as they say. $10 US super sticker, bang. Let's give you Super Chat Gal 1. Namaste, motherfuckers. that's what my dearly departed yoga guy used to say after like an hour and a half of intense hot yoga, and we were just wrung dry, and we're just there dead, and he'd be like, namaste, motherfuckers. He's gone now, and he was beautiful. Rufus with a $2.99 super sticker. Thank you, Rufus. Great to see you in the room. Former #1 basher of the day. Amazing guy. Thank you so much. Let's give you Gong Woman 2. Thank you, Rufus. And Daniel Gutierrez says, okay, folks, 6 p.m. Grey Goose Martini poured. Nice. Shaken or stirred, Mr. Gutierrez? It's good to know. And Sharon with a Canadian $13.99 TJF. No tariffs so far. Threats of tariffs. No tariffs. Threats of tariffs. No tariffs. We need our Canadian brothers and sisters. We love them. You know why? Because they're the friendliest people. I've been to the beautiful country a bunch of times, and I can't say I've met friendly or wonderful people. And they're our friends. Don't tariff them. We pay them anyway. Just the whole idea behind tariffs and how people don't know how they work is just astounding to me. But what it does is it makes you, I guess the incentive is buy American. But what if they don't have it? And they often don't, because we moved all manufacturing out of here. Oh boy. Let's give you a big bang boom for that, because you are the beautiful one. The beautiful one. Let me see. What can I give you that would be appropriate for that? Gong Woman 3, my favorite of the Gong Women. Delicious coffee. Ray says, God, I miss Dana. I do too. I miss her every day. She's got an open invitation to be on the show anytime she wants. She knows how to get here. She knows how, if she wants to come on. Actually, I should put up my my messages, since I use my phone as my camera. Even though I'm working on not doing that anymore, I'm trying to figure out a way to not do that, because I think it would be great. Because then I could have my phone. So, because every once in a while, people will email me or send me an iMessage or whatever the hell way you get through to me, and it would be great. But she did not say anything as of yet. So, hey, I won't say anything. And look who's here. It's Drew B. Hey, you know what I'm going to pull up right now? Drew B. do. I'm going to pull it because, you know, it's Friday. We don't really do a whole lot of Gallery of Bashtards, but we can, depending on when the big guy comes. Here is, as he says, and I had to look this up, RBF. I had no idea what that meant. He says, but here she is, our beautiful Kay, in her resting bitch face. She couldn't be more beautiful if she tried. And, you know, now that we all know her and love her and know her story, we're so grateful. So a bitch is not possible for her to be. She's, she just looks like a ball of love to me. And I'm so grateful for you guys and for Kay and her beautiful new life, which I know will be long and wonderful. And she will be loved. You will be loved. You will be loved. What is that? Maroon 5? It's not a terrible song. We love our Kay. We love you, Kay. Thank you for that. I'll just put on, I won't do a full-on Gallery Bashers. I'll just do them as I go. Why not, right? Thank you, Drooby Doo. Steve Mac 3 is here. Woohoo! It's the effing weekend. It sure is. I hope you're well. Is everybody having a drink? And if you are, what are you having? Dean says, "Hey Drew, are you gonna make a moon swatch crack? Where's my moon swatch? It was on my desk for this whole week because I didn't know where it was because I don't give a shit." Because mine's broken. What did I do with it? Did I put it away? I did. Broken moon swatch. Broken. I mean, it works, but it's just has no bezel. And I have no idea where the bezel is. No idea whatsoever. Fergal says, "Hey, Dean, enjoy the wine, mate. Enjoy it." And Travis is here. Now, this is a risk worth respecting. Listen, it's like almost like a fetish now. You have to worry about where you look because like guys check out a girl's rump or her boobs or whatever. Like I just check out wrists now, and you know what? Some wrists are better than others, and this is a classic one. This guy's got a great wrist. And Jim M the other night, wow, I was like, that is an impressive. It sounds kinky, right? It wasn't meant that way, but I was like, whoa, holy mackerel! You could wear. And he does. He wears big watches, and they look amazing on him, like they look on Travis. Great looking wrist, great looking watch, incredible. Hey, Travis, great to see you. Wearing my Speedy today as well. Hey. Shit, wine fresh. Don't give us any of that old wine. We want the fresh wine. It's the greatest line in the Jerk. And Donald Gehring is here. Hey, buddy, how are you? Hello, all. Hey, Dirk. Hey to you. Great to see you in the room. Dan, are you live? Donald wants to know too. I love having you guys live in the room. It's great to see you live, Donald, always. Dana Gutierrez says, "Yeah, first sip of a martini on a Friday night always go down delish." I'm not a liquor guy, but if I did, I'd want to drink martinis because I think they look really cool. I've always thought that way. Ken Furby says, "New Yorker." Yeah, he's New York. He's got a classic Hoyer Monaco and his pussycat. He did like cats. I read a book years and years ago about an assistant to Kubrick, and that he was difficult unless you really knew what he wanted. And when he respected you, you really got into it. He started out as a gopher for him, and he was a slightly eccentric guy, but shame on me for not knowing that he was a New Yorker. I should have known that. But, I just equate him with great British cinema. But, I think that would make the Brits proud that this American came over there and created some of the greatest masterworks of cinema ever. And he did them independently, even though some of them were released through major studios. This is a guy that did not answer to anyone for any reason under the sun at all. Crazy. Robin's Bird is here. Evening all. Hey, great to see you back. 3 in a row. I'm counting. I count when I see a new basher that's always in the room. You've been in and out, but it's great to see you 3 in a row. I hope you're having a great cocktail if you drink. If you don't, I hope you're with people that you love or a great cat or a great book or whatever, and you're just having a good time. Thanks so much. Thinking and drinking my thoughts. Daniel says, for you guys across the pond, what's the norm? Vinegar on fish and chips or mayo? Oh, it's vinegar. It's malt vinegar. I don't even eat fish, and I know that. Yeah, it's salt and vinegar, baby. Mayo? I don't think I've ever seen anybody. Mayo and chips is a French Belgian thing. I mean, I like it because I love mayonnaise. It's like one of my it's one of my favorite foods. It's a lot of people hate mayonnaise. I love it. I just love mayonnaise, and I like Hellman's mayonnaise because it's the best. I don't like fresh mayonnaise. I don't like when a chef makes it. It's always like creepy and viscous. Viscous isn't a good word, is it? You don't want anything viscous, right? Blech. Yeah, malt vinegar, baby. And Sharon says, yeah, malt vinegar. That's the way you do it. Yep. Hey, Eddie is in there. Hi, Eddie. Sup, Dirk and friends. Great to see you, Eddie, in the room. Nice to have you live. Always fun. You're always come on, knock down the apple cart. Say something that we have to react to, because I love when you I hope you had a couple of drinks, because you're like more fun than a barrel of monkeys, my friend. Danny Gutierrez. It's there are certain people that come in on the show and they're disruptors in the best way possible, and Eddie is definitely one of them. Always a lot of fun. Yep, at Sharon, I've seen them put a bottle of that on all the tables of pubs. Yeah, that's the cool thing about Ireland and the UK. You know, HB sauce is on the table, Coleman's mustard, which is one of my favorites, and you never see that here ever. No one's ever heard of HB sauce here. They don't even know. I mean, I don't know if I've ever even had that because you put that on a steak, right? I don't think I've ever. Hey, look who's here. And also, please correct me if I'm wrong. It's great to see you back in the room and you're wearing a Daytona. Oh boy. Tariff free. Love it. From Falky. Am I saying that right? Or is it Falky or Falky? Tell me how to say that so I don't goof up your name when you're in the room because that's important to me that I don't make mistakes. Sharon says it's 11:12. Okay, so that's good. And very soon it's going to be just 5 hours because we're going to move our clocks up. Are you going to do it too? When is daylight savings time? I don't even know who does it anymore. Some people don't. I'm sure the UK does. Dean says, Daniel, the norm is salt and vinegar, but I'm not normal. What do you put on your fish and chips? What do you put on there? Ketchup? Dedicator 613 here, as it is here, or as it was here. Now I know exactly. I'm 10 minutes behind in the chats in sunny Florida and 72 degrees. All right, rub it in, rub it in. The beautiful Julian is here. I've never met an animal I didn't like, and I can't say the same thing about people. That's completely true. I've never met an animal. Even the ones that don't like me, I'm like, you have to like me. I love you already. The really frightening thing about middle age is the knowledge that you'll grow out of it. How fucked up is that? Oh, brother. Martini always stirred and always, I mean, you're not supposed to shake. Well, you can shake that. It's fine. And always add a number of PF olives. They say is bad luck to get an even number of olives. Oh, yeah. You have to have 3, right? Well, we always did 1. I know some people do 3 on a stick. Yeah, that's cool too. There are moments when it's too quiet, particularly late at night or early in the mornings. That's when you know there's something lacking in your life. You just know. Yeah, that's very true. In moments when it's too quiet. Can I admit that I like the quiet? 2:00 in the morning when I'm working in my studio and falls asleep and everything's, when Laverne was here, she kept me company, but I do like the quiet time. Sometimes it's hard to reflect. Sometimes it's hard to hear what's in your head, because when you hear stuff that's going on in your head, that's rough, really rough. Sometimes you don't want the noise in your head. I mean, when the uncreative tell the creative what to do, it stops being art. Yeah, well, that's, you know what, guys, we don't hear right now is a hit single. That's the worst thing you can do to an artist for music. I'm not hearing the hit single, man. Like you play, and I've been through this. We've all been through this. Or people, musicians, I would imagine with art, it's photography. You're looking for something that's commercial. What's commercial? Commercial means popular. Popular is what's now, what's happening now. What was pop in the 70s, like I said the other day. On the charts, you had the Average White Band and the Gap Band and Casey and the Sunshine Band and ABBA and AC/DC. You had all different kinds of music. Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. You had all these different, everybody was listening to everything. They were listening to the Bee Gees and they were listening to Led Zeppelin. What happened? Barbra Streisand had #1 hits right next to, all these other artists. Why is it just one genre now? I'll never understand that. It's like tastes have become so small. People used to love a variety of things. I got to see a lot of bands that aren't rock or metal because I like lots of music. I don't even listen to rock or metal very much, only if I have to, keep up with the Joneses or somebody who hasn't put out a record in a really long time. That'll be interesting to me. But oftentimes I don't. I was listening to Olivia Newton-John all day today. You got to believe we are magic. She's so soft yet so powerful. Olivia Newton-John, one of the greatest of all time. Incredible. Yeah. So yeah, it's true. Stop telling people it needs to be commercial. Nathaniel, the next Bond, he's been on a Mission Impossible. He's tall, dark, and handsome, and a clever fecker. Well, it's good. If you're talking about Henry Cavill, then you're preaching to the choir because he was in Mission Impossible Fallout. And if you ask me, he's the only guy for the job. The only guy. Aaron Taylor Johnson talks like this. He's got a really odd voice. He talks like that. He's got the worst voice ever. My name's Bond, James Bond. You can't have a guy like that. He sounds like Adele. Ugh, no, not him. you have to have the incredibly tall, handsome, and extremely received pronunciation of Henry Cavill. He's the perfect Bond. Is that a burst behind you? Holy moly. It is, but those aren't real. This is my green screen, buddy. I have a green screen. I know my green. I have lots of great guitars in here, but I do not have a burst. I don't. I can't afford a burst, Eddie. I've got great guitars, though. I've got Telecasters. I do have a Les Paul. I've got Gibson Howard Roberts Fusion, a couple of Gretches, two. I've got a bunch of acoustic. I have lots of guitars in here, but I don't have a burst. This is just green screen because there's a wall right there, and I needed to make it look interesting for our show. So yeah, it's not a burst. I mean, that Telecaster's got binding on it, which is creepy. Now you're not going to be able to see this because I use a green screen, but this is my American Deluxe Telecaster, which is bound, and it's got a maple fretboard, and it is absolutely beautiful. And you can't tell that it's this because I use green screen, but it has it's kind of like a teal blue green, and it's clear lacquer, so you can see all the wood grain, and it is hard rock maple, and it's quite beautiful. But I wish it was a burst. I don't have a burst. I would love a burst. He's talking about a Gibson Les Paul Sunburst, which I want a cherry burst, like the classic Ace, Jimmy Page, the cherry Sunburst. And I know Emmett's got a shitload of Les Pauls. The guitars behind him are all real because he's got a big space and the ability. I have guitars hanging on the wall, but they're all behind my green screens. You know, I have like the crazy Jackson that I bought in 1982, and they're all behind my screen here. I'm not really in a basement. We all need fantasy to survive because reality is too difficult. Yeah, that's what it's for. Uh-oh, he's throwing down the gauntlet, Dean. Black Moon Phase this Tuesday. Oh boy, which by the way is the nicest one. It is for sure. The white one's going to get dirty. Way too dirty. And CW Watch Enthusiast, that's our Fergal. We are on the Baileys, long week with 1 cube or no cube. How are you having your Baileys? I do have, because I'm a bartender of 30 plus years, I have 2 systems to make great ice. One of them is a little bucket where you put it in there and then you keep emptying it so all of the oxygenation comes off so you can get clear ice, and then you cut it with a hot knife. And the other way is I just have the molds. And if you want to get clear ice, and clear ice looks so much better in a cocktail than, you know, all of that, you know, the cloudiness or the impurities in the ice. And what you want in the ice is you want it to be clear. There's ways to do it. It's not easy to do at home, and it takes a little bit of time, but it's worth it if you're serving cocktails in like a tumbler, like a beautiful scotch or something like a Bailey's or something like that. It just looks nice. Bailey's, you could get away with it because it's opaque. I guess you could. Gigi sporting the Black Beauty GMT today. Nice. Emmett's got a Les Paul Black Beauty, which is crazy. But the Black Beauty, we all love that watch. Absolutely great. Dean says, hey, Travis. Yeah, it's great to see him in the room, right? Live. Lime margarita with ice and salt rim. I've never had a margarita in my life, but I worked in a margarita bar for 24 years. And I've made 1 million margaritas, probably literally 1 million. And I never understood why people said, oh, no salt. Because it just seems like the whole tradition of a margarita is, and a great margarita is just your tequila of your choice, Cointreau, and fresh lime juice. But, you know, without the salt, I mean, I've tasted them, and I don't think they're bad or anything, but like, I can't handle my liquor. There's no way I could drink that stuff. I can't drink tequila. I'd become a weirdo. I'd become crazy. It's not gin, but it is probably something, you know. It's probably something. Steve Mack is pouring himself a 12-year-old Glenmorangie dram, right? We dram for you, man. Great. Well, you're in that part of the world where all the best whiskeys. Is it much cheaper for you to buy, like you wanted a great Isla? Is it cheaper for you to get something like that than it is for us mere mortals? You know, Vasilios P, our Greek friend, is here. I am late. Good evening to all. He gave us an education because I said I had a friend who wanted to move to Crete, and we heard about so many Grecian locations for you guys. And for my friend Jimmy, who's really considering moving to Greece, which would be great. Ray Ray's having a ginger beer, but don't bite your fingernails. Come on. Don't bite your fingernail. Don't do that. It's, first of all, your hands, you have beautiful hands. Enjoy them. Let other people enjoy your beautiful hands. Hands are very beautiful. Very beautiful. And now wrists, baby. Drew B, awesome pick of Kay. We all love that because she's the most beautiful thing in the world. Drew B, wow, never heard of it. Not looking forward to it. He's talking about the moon face. Battle Power says, tag a whore. I never heard that either, but that's pretty damn funny. What do you got? I got a tag whore. Kay's pick credit goes to Heather. I have a couple more. Send them on in. You got more? A Gallery of Bashtards. Kay found some lawn. Oh, come on. Heather's quite the photographer, buddy boy. Look at our Kay. Look at this. Look at that. She found some laundry. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Look at her. Her ears looking great, Drew. Really, really great. Really, really great. Amazing. Wow. Look at her, our beautiful Kay. We love you. And we love your mommy and daddy and your brother so much for giving us so much joy and giving us hope. How about that? Giving us hope. Falky says, I saw Paul Thorpe in the room. In my room? Come on. He doesn't even know who I am, other than he said something nasty about me. And I don't even know the guy. I don't know him. You know, it's just collateral damage. You know, he wrote something untrue about me, and he actually edited a video to make me look bad. And I thought that was kind of mean. And I wrote him a letter, and I never heard back from him. He would never come in here. For what reason? For what reason? But that's interesting. Miami Manny, it's been a while. Happy Friday, Dirk and the Bashers. Happy Friday to you, Miami Manny. Great to see you in the room. How are you and your beautiful pup? Always great to see you, Miami. Drew B, I heard the Black Moon phase is in Dirk's top 5. It's my number 1 moon swatch. It's the best of the moon swatches. It sure is. I mean, listen, we all have to agree that those are extremely expensive for what they are. But, you know, I get it. I haven't run out and bought them. I have one. I have one. I think they're cool. I like them. You know, it's like, I don't like Elon Musk, but I like the Cybertruck. I think it's cool. Shoot me. I think it's cool. I don't mind it. I like it a lot. I see them and I get a little excited about them. They just look like they own the road. And you know, if you hit somebody with that thing, 1, they'd be hamburger, and 2, you'd be just fine. Because that thing is it's crazy. Dean says, Ray, that sucks. Cedric, listen, our Raphael is doing his very best to keep healthy and stay fresh. And, he's worried about his health. But all the tests came back pretty great. So we're going to keep our Raphael in the room for a while. Listen, everything in moderation, my dear ones. You know, you can have a cocktail, or you could probably have the odd fag here and there too, Raphael, if you wanted to. But you just can't do the morning wake up thing. And, you know, you just can't do it. But I think you know. He's an intelligent man of high intelligence. Ken Furby says that Stan Lee was a tricky personality, but I'm a massive fan. Ditto, Anquillo. He was an interesting guy as his films. That's not always the case. Yeah, I mean, every once in a while, there's so many movies are being made now because digital is so cheap. You know, back in the day, you'd need to buy reams of film, and the film was very, very expensive, and it had a lot. Budgets would. For extra film, sometimes they'd run out of film and they wouldn't have enough money left over. Now these big budget movies are all shot. I mean, it's like the record business. You know, my band never spent tons of money on records, 50, 60, 70 grand on records. But like, you know, I know that Mr. North record cost like almost $300,000 because they did the big studio, the big RCA thing, the big producer, and, you know, a lot of money. And nowadays, you know, everybody's got a laptop. You have a laptop, you have Pro Tools, you have Logic Pro, you have a decent sounding room. It doesn't even matter. Just make sure it's dead, then you can create the ambience. You know, records are cheaper now. Nowadays, some of these filmmakers, like Edgar Berger, who did Conclave. You guys all know that I loved Conclave, and that's fine. It only won Best Adapted Screenplay. It was visually one of the most beautiful movies I've ever seen in modern cinema. They had like Vermeer, Rembrandt, these shots where they'd have the cardinals after the explosion. They're covered in soot and they're sitting in an auditorium, and the camera would just sit still, and it just looked like a Rembrandt. It was beautifully shot. I haven't seen Nora yet. I plan on seeing it. That movie cost almost nothing to make. I think it was a couple $1 million, which still is a lot of money. I'm surprised people aren't making movies on their iPhones right now and putting them in cinemas or putting them up on subscriber, streamers. And that's going to happen too, because technology, like being able to record digitally, being able to film digitally, doesn't cost anything. You don't run out of film. You just run out of hard drive space. And then you go to your local place in America. It's called Staples. Or you go on Amazon, you order a new hard drive. Boom, you got more film. It's crazy. Everybody's saying, Miami, Manny, we haven't seen you in a long time. It's true. Tartar sauce and ice cold stout with fish and chips. Now, in America, we have this thing called fish sticks. And anyone here of a certain age will know what that means. It's kind of like your fish and chips, but they're frozen, and they're from a company called Mrs. Paul's or Gorton's. And you put them in the oven and you heat them up, and then you'd eat them with tartar sauce. Tartar sauce is a kind of mayonnaise based. I think it has pickles in it. It has a bunch of different things in it, but fascinating. I like tartar sauce. I have it in my refrigerator right now. I like it. The two besties. Hey, two besties. Great to see you in the room. Hey. Oh, hey. Those are my great nieces. Ready for that? That's Michaela and AJ, isn't it? It is indeed. Hey, guys. Hey. What are you two doing on my show? Hi. Hey. So keep it clean, kids. Drew, that does not surprise me. HP, Houses of Parliament. Is that what it means? HP sauce means Houses of Parliament? I never, ever knew that. Drew B says he's drinking White Russian from a can. Now, that's the big trend in cocktailing, is pre-mixed drinks in cans. I don't know. I guess a White Russian would be okay because it's, Kahlua and milk and vodka. I could see how they could do that in a can. It's almost like a coffee drink. Why not? Is it good? And is it from Colombia? Who knows? Ray, cheers, Dean. Doesn't bother me and enjoy. Oh, good. That's good that you're good with that. I see you, AJ. I see you. This is how old I am now. Ready? So this is my sister Pat's daughters and sons' children. They're my great nieces. Aren't they cute? You should have somebody monitor the show because it can get frisky later on. It might be some language I don't want you two to hear. How are you, kids? Miami Man, he says it's been a crazy busy week with work. That seems to be going around. Everybody's saying that. And Travis says, hey, Manny, cheers. What's a 1:22 in the morning for Greece? Oh, God, you are far away, my friend. And look what it is. Like, we have this whole new Norwegian contingency. And welcome, Native Prince, evening from Norway. Great to see you in the room. 3:23, because you're in Vancouver. You're in one of the most beautiful places in the whole wide world. And Native Prince, what time is it in Norway? It's probably midnight-ish. It's probably 6. It's probably 12:40 in the morning. Crazy. Mart says, new helm, how do I say this? Vanuatu titanium watch on the way soon with a few new straps. I don't know what this watch is. Let me see what this is. New helm. Okay, cool. Let's take a look at that because it's Friday. We can do whatever we want, right? It's a freeform show. Chrome tab. I don't know what this watch is. Oh, this is pretty, man. Oh, wow. Look at this. Unknown caller. That is... The only person that could get through on my phone is my sister. My phone is actually ringing right now because she comes up unknown caller. Only certain people can get through when I'm doing this. Let me pull this up. Helm watches. Let's take a look. Beautiful. These are gorgeous, man. What's the price point on these things? Wow, $285. Really? That's super duper. Oh, look at that on rubber. Wow. Oh, it just shifted, right? Okay, hold on. Looks great on rubber. Look at that. That looks... Oh, it's not on rubber. It's on a NATO. Oh, these are very pretty, man. Me likey. Those are great. Congratulations. Nothing like a new watch to make you feel good. Panel Power says Sabbatean Frankist Zionist Israelis consider everywhere else to be Goyim Slavs, slaves. Probably true. Last great entire album that hit the market. That's lost too. What's the last great, Daniel Gutierrez? What's the last great entire album? Well, it's gone first full circle because back in the day of the Bill Haley and the Comets, pop music, Sinatra, people didn't really buy long players as much. They bought the singles, and then the Beatles, advent of the Beatles, and the album format, Sgt. Pepper, the White Album, Abbey Road, and then Led Zeppelin, who never put out singles. I think Led Zeppelin only ever put out one single in their career, and that was Whole Lotta Love. It's the only single they ever released. They sold 350 million albums, one of the biggest selling rock groups of all time, and never had any singles. Iron Maiden put out singles, but they've sold over 100 and some odd million records. No singles. But now everybody just buys the singles. They don't even buy them. They just Spotify them. And if you're going to use a streaming service, I mean, nobody has the equipment that Dean does. He's got and Angelo Minichello. They both have this service that is the highest quality audio, uncompressed audio. Don't use Spotify because, one, they're bad to their artists. They don't pay them. And it's a pittance of what they get. If you buy it on Apple, it's 99 cents, and you might say, oh, I don't like Apple or whatever, or commensurate, maybe Tidal, because that's driven by artists. And you buy those singles, or if you're going to go digital, or just go out and buy a format in vinyl or CD if you can, if you still listen to vinyl, as a lot of us are doing once again, and we haven't done in a really, really long time. And I think it's very, very cool. Fergal says always has his Baileys over ice, one large cube, as it should be, my friend, as it should be. Panel Power also says, I had a margarita in Napoli. Wouldn't mix that with pizza. Ooh, with lemon. Oh, God, weird. Well, lemon's okay because you have all that Neapolitan Amalfi lemons. They're some of the best in the world, ever in the world. So I wouldn't turn that down. That's great stuff. Really great stuff. That's probably good. Listen, like I say, I don't drink liquor, but if I'm in a foreign place and somebody says, here, drink this ouzo, I'll drink it. I'm not a liquor person, but if it's like everybody's doing, Proust or something, or Slancha or whatever they're doing, I'm not going to drink whiskey though, because I think it's nasty. I don't like it. I don't like vodka. Would that be the fresh ice or the frozen straight? That's pretty funny. Definitely not cheaper with the UK taxes. Oh, is that right? However, I do have a friend who works at a distillery. Shh, say no more, and I won't. Panel Power says that people are gloating on SpaceX rockets failing because of Musk. Says more about the type of person than who they are hating on. Hypocritical. Listen, I'm all for space exploration. I'm a big, as you know, an amateur enthusiast. I certainly don't have I don't have any of that telescopic equipment that a lot of you guys do. But I love to read about it. I love to watch all the videos about it. Mars, I think, is a waste of everybody's time. I know he's dead set on that. I don't really see what are we going to do there. Maybe they just want it for mining. At the end of the day, I think it's all about mining it for resources, since that's what Musk is proving to do. He's proving that he's only really interested in that. So, because it's a dead rock, it has no magnetosphere. It's got no real atmosphere to speak of. Certainly the pressure, or, you're dead instantly. Unless you want to terraform it, which will never happen in any of our lifetimes or further generations. Not even in my great niece's lifetimes will anybody ever figure out how to terraform another celestial body. They won't, unless Ephraim Cochrane comes around and comes up with, Miguel Alcubierre. He's got that great theory. He's amazing astrophysicist who basically came up with how we could get there, how we can harness light speed. But the only problem is it involves dark matter, which we know exists, but we don't know what it is or where it is. It's everywhere, but we don't know how to harness it. But we know through deduction that it exists. The SpaceX stuff failing, I don't like failure of any kind, especially technological like that, because these missions do accomplish great things. They have, we've got 2 new missions, landers on the moon, private, and they're going to collect samples and do a lot of interesting stuff. We only scratched the surface the last time, literally. scratch the surface. Yeah, everybody's a hypocrite nowadays, right? Dirk, did you see? Oh, I didn't, Daniel. What did they say about Gene Hackman? Oh, crap. Was it murder? Oh, no. I hate this. Uh-oh, Gene Hackman. Oh, shit. Sorry for cursing. Gene Hackman, cause of death. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. It's not murder. This is the first thing came up, so don't yell at me for going here. Hackman died of heart disease, and his wife died of hantavirus. Officials in Santa Fe, New Mexico, released key details today about the investigations into the deaths of actor Gene Hackman and his wife Betsy Arakawa. The pair were found dead along with one of their dogs at their secluded mountaintop home last month. Officials believe Arakawa's last known communication was on February 11th. She is seen on her surveillance video going into stores earlier in the day before coming back to the gated community where they lived. Hackman, 95, likely died several days after, after Arakawa, when his pacemaker last recorded his heartbeat. Arakawa died of hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, according to Jarrell. Her body was found on the floor of the bathroom in the couple's home. Pills were scattered that were not related to her death. Wow, this is so weird. So hantavirus, I don't know much about that. Pulmonary syndrome is a rare infectious disease that is contracted through contact with rodents. Oh, God. Oh, my God. So she was like bitten by a mouse or a rat or something? Oh, I'm sorry. Letting me. I didn't actually look at the news today. I had a lot of stuff on my plate, so I wasn't looking really at anything at all. But thanks for letting me in on that. It's very sad. He was great. I mean, 95, he won the lottery, you know. He won the game. I hate a lot of things. I object to being arrested for those opinions. I hate celery. Lock me up. I'll go on a dirty protest. I don't particularly care for celery either. I don't care if it's in anything, Panel Power. I don't care. But like eating, like people who eat celery sticks, I don't particularly like it, and I hate that stringy stuff on the bottom, whatever that is. I'm a textural food disliker. When stuff is weird, I tend to not like it, you know? Panel Power also says, hello, iBashers. I used to share a house with the granddaughter of Roald Amundsen from Antarctica. In Antarctica? Did you live in Antarctica? Antarctica? Did you live in Antarctica? Wow, that's crazy. Travis says, the best part of live streams is connecting with people all over the world. That's why I'm in it, baby. I get to meet all you wonderful people and connect with you. I know who your pets are, your wives, your boyfriends, your girlfriends. I know everything. I know what watches you wear. Panel Power says that Led Zeppelin were the first band that could afford to buy a plane. Yeah, and I think they were the first to do it. I happen to know that plane that the famous one was leased and then bought. But it was originally, they leased it and they liked it and they were like, hey, let's get one, by Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas, whoever owned that at the time. And then Deep Purple leased it, and then everybody started leasing that plane. But then Led Zeppelin got their own because they're like, wow, this is great. And then now all the big rock stars have planes, right? They all do. But they had commercial planes. They didn't have like Dassaults or Lear jets. They had a 707, damn it. Actually, I think it was a 720B. That's what it was a 707, but it's the first one. What was that called? The 707 that wasn't a 707. It was the I think it was a 720B. Slightly different plane, and I think they made like 5 of them. Melly C says, am I odd? I have not streamed ever. No, you're not odd. Some people stream and some people don't. And I think that's great. I'll be honest with you. If somebody says, have you heard the new single by somebody or other? I'll go on YouTube. But if I love it, I will buy it. And I won't stream it. I will actually get CD. It's actually because, don't laugh at me, Dean, because you probably will. I have a great CD player in the other room, but in here, I bought one of these players for my computer so I could play CDs in my studio. This is pretty dusty because I haven't used it in a while. Because I like the way it sounds. I like uncompressed audio. I like to hear what the artists were doing in the studio at the time. I much prefer it that way. I don't want to hear it all compressed and squeezed and crappy. I don't like it. Melly C says, I love listening to music via vinyl or CD. I agree. I could not possibly agree. Melly and Sharon having a little love fest. Hey, beautiful Sharon. Hey, Melly. Great to see you. Yeah. Hey, Paul Dowenhour. How are you? Star Trek reference alert. My Zephram. How are you? Great to see you and welcome to the live chat. This is my little gang of beautiful people, my beautiful people, my beautiful people. And this guy right here is a big troublemaker. This is Eddie. Dirkster, who is the most important guitar player? Not the best, but the most important. Oh, God, you're going to put me on the spot right in front of our brand new guy here? Our brand new guy? Oh, brother, bread and butter. Jesus Christ, let me think. The most important, I'm going to have to say Les Paul, because not only was he a very good player. How's that, Paul Dowenhour? Am I getting that right? I think so. I would say it has got to be Les Paul. Not the best guitar player, but the most innovative, because he invented delay. He didn't invent the electric guitar, but, he refined the wheel. What else did he invented multi-track recording. Just listen to him and Mary Ford, like How High the Moon, double tracking her vocals. And then Patti Page started doing that. And then everybody started doing it. There's not everybody from Patti Page to Vince Neil, who has to multi-track. She didn't. She was a great singer. But yeah, I would say the most important has got to be, I would say it has to be Les Paul. What do you think? Now, if you want to talk about players, I have a very strong opinion on, I think, you want to talk about that? We could. I don't know if I'm going to alienate and bore the living shit out of people, but that's a huge super chat. Thank you, Eddie. I always say, because he always makes me think. That's why I love when Eddie chimes in. He always makes me think, and sometimes I have to really think about it, and that I did. What's the most important? It's Les Paul, because without Les Paul, what would we have? First of all, Gibson probably would have gone out of business in the late 50s. They probably would have gone out. I mean, Fender already had it wrapped up pretty much, with the Nocaster and then the Telecaster and the Stratocaster. And Gibson, they hit it out of the park, and he is the guy that invented it. So 100% Les Paul is my answer. Now let's give you a mega super chat. Thank you, buddy. Thanks, buddy. You rock. You rock. I think that's I mean, I do have an opinion of guitar players that I think revolutionized the sport, like anybody would in baseball or anything in the world. I think guitar players are rated like athletes, as a lot of singers are too. Singers can be more visceral. But like great guitar players, like my list of top 10 guitar players won't be in the pantheon of the people that changed the world, and that's tough. But anyway, welcome Paul Dowenhour, and he got my Zephram Cochrane. We need a Zephram Cochrane, and it's not Elon. It's not him. He's not him, unfortunately. I always buy vinyl to support the artist, digital second. Somehow we all knew that. Beautiful one. NASA was ruined by a German Nazi taken into the USA via Operation Paperclip. Another Nazi converted to the OSST. It's very, very political and very true. NASA, I mean, we can all wax poetic about that, but man, you want to see the receipts, I guess, right? Andy M says, hello. Hey, Andy M, wishing you and yours only good things. He's working at the moment. Oh. But I'll put it up because, as we always say every time he shows up, only good things. What do we try to do on the iBashers? We try to do only good things. Pay it forward. you know, because we can't all be Drew and his beautiful wife, but we can do our little bit. I know a lot of you, and speaking of which, let's show our beautiful Kay because we love her. She's enjoying some laundry time, and a stray cat with a bum leg would never be able to luxuriate inside some freshly laundered towels and blankets. And that now, my friends, is what humanity is capable of. Humanity is capable. This was a street urchin on the street. And am I getting a glass of wine right now? Oh, thank you very much. I don't eat on the show, but thank you.
Oh, okay. Well, you might do it on the side.
No, I don't. But anyway, because Sheen didn't show up yet, so I haven't opened up the bottle of wine. But anyway, cheers to you guys. Thank you so very much. Only good things. Our beautiful Andy M. Thank you so much. I'm going to cheers you guys. And there's our. I'm going to cheers to. This is a cheers to the bashers who make a difference. And it's each and every one of you. And especially to our Drew B. and his beautiful wife, Heather, and their son, Andrew, for saving the life and giving this. Look at her. She's in the Ritz-Carlton. Cheers to you guys. Cling. Let me cling it on there. I'm having my, this is a 2008 Medoc. Oof. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. That's good. I don't know where the big guy is, but hey, man, he'll be around sooner or later. Or maybe he won't. I don't know. I hope so. It would be not Friday nights without him, right? It'd be weird. But he said he was working. And you know, when you're working in the studio, you lose track of time. You totally lose track of time. So only good things, my friends. Thank you so very much. Eddie, you rock. Rufus with a $4.99. Leo Fender invented the electric bass guitar. Without that, you can't have rock and roll. I vote Leo. I vote Leo. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously, Fender. I mean, yes, Leo Fender and Les Paul. You know, Orville Gibson, who invented Gibson guitars. He started out as a mandolin and guitar manufacturer, so he can't be in the equation. But listen, it's a good toss up. Yeah, I mean, yeah. But I mean, for the many things, I mean, Leo was he was great. He's one of the goats. You know, he came up with great instruments, and everybody still plays them to this day. I mean, listen, I've got Les Pauls, I've got Gibsons, I've got Gretches, I've got stuff, and they're all in their cases. But my Telecaster always stays right there because I constantly need to grab it, you know, for whatever I'm up to. Because I'm working on a song or something, I want to lay something down, or I have an idea. That guitar is always going to be there. That's my workhorse. It's my tool. I think the Telecaster is the switchblade, the Swiss Army knife of guitars. So yeah, I totally get it. I mean, Les Paul did so many other things, but if you're going to stick straight to guitar, it's a great argument. It's a great argument. Let's go with Gong Woman 2. Thank you, buddy boy. Yeah, it's tough to come up with, like, you know, those kinds of things. You know, like that's whenever you see like the Rolling Stone top 10 guitar players. And then, you know, like Keith Richards and Kurt Cobain are in the top 10. Are they good guitar players? They're all right. Are they great guitar players? No, I don't think so. I think when it comes to rock and roll, there's a couple of guys that changed it for everyone. And when I mean change it for everyone, I mean the path to guitar playing changes because of them. Sure, you could be Jeff Beck is arguably the most beloved guitar player of all time. Did he change the face of rock guitar? I don't believe that he did. As much as I love Jeff Beck, you speak to Richie Blackmore, you speak to Jimmy Page, you speak to Yngwie Malmsteen, you speak to Eddie Van Halen, they're all going to say he's probably the best. Except Eric Clapton probably won't. Well, Eric Clapton will probably say that. But, you know, before that, you had all the Buddy Holly guys and the rock and roll dudes. They were playing clean and doing the shooby-dooby-doo rock and roll thing. And that was cool. And that's all you had. And then that guy, Jimi Hendrix, showed up. And I don't enjoy Hendrix's music at all. Not my thing. I don't really care. I don't enjoy it. It's not my thing. But he completely revolutionized the way people play guitar. So after Hendrix, everybody started playing with distortion. And everybody, and I'm not even going to put Jimmy Page in this mix because he was alongside the Becks and the Claptons and those guys that were riding this particular wave. And there's a million guys in that thing that are great. Some people sold more records and became more famous, but Hendrix changed the game entirely for everyone to this day. And then after that, the next guy to completely revolutionize guitar was Edward Van Halen, because he completely revolutionized the way people approach the guitar, unorthodox, with finger tapping and the hammer-ons and the pull-offs and all that stuff. And after him, guitar was never the same, because then everyone became a clone of him. Not the people who preceded him, but all the guys to come. His legacy was to pave a road of guys that sound exactly like him, because he opened up brand new avenues and ways to play guitar. And this is a controversial pick, and he's the last, because there's guys out there that can do more things than any of these guys have ever done. But I'm going to say Yngwie Malmsteen. Like him or hate him, after him, every single guy in the hard rock and metal community were playing neoclassical guitar. It could have been Randy Rhoads from Ozzy's group, but he didn't take it far enough, and his life was too short. He died very, very young. He died at 25. Yngwie Malmsteen, all of a sudden, everybody had to learn how to play sweep picking and arpeggios and Phrygian scales and Aeolian scales and the diminished minor, which he's so famous for, Bach and Chopin and Paganini. All of a sudden, all the guys, everyone sounded like Yngwie for 10 years. And then everybody settled down, and then Slash came around. And Slash came around and put the kibosh on that crap and said enough of the, Phrygian and Aeolian crap. And he just started slinging the Les Paul really low and playing sick blues guitar. And then he brought it back around. So I kind of would put Slash in there too. Like him or hate him, I love him as a guitar player. Guns N' Roses aren't my thing, but man, my favorite guitar player, you've seen it. I did my top guitar players. My top guitar of the famous guitar players. I always said Emmett's one of my favorites, and he is. It's true. I love Emmett's playing because I think it's unique. I love the Edge. He's unique too. It's great. But my two big famous guys are Michael Schenker and Brian May. I just love the way they play. And I also love this guy that not a lot of people know about. And if anybody's ever heard of this guy, let me know. Akira Takasaki from a band called Loudness. They're a Japanese hard rock metal band. Me and my friend Rick bought their first album in 1981 when we were kids, and it was called The Birthday Eve. And it was this very Van Halen-y guitar player, but he's really a combination of lots of guitar players. There's a lot of Eddie Van Halen. There's a lot of Randy Rhoads. There's a lot of Michael Schenker. There's some aspects of Jeff Beck and Jimmy Page. Everybody who plays guitar will say Jimmy Page, because if they're blues guitar players, the John Mayers and the Eric Johnsons and the Joe Bonamasas, look at you. Look what you did to me, Eddie. It's all your fault. God damn it. Those guys are an amalgam. Like, for example, you ever hear John Mayer play Van Halen? He does a great job because he knows that has to be in his arsenal. He plays like Clapton blues, B.B. King blues. He plays like he's a blues guitar player, but he puts on a Kramer Beretta, Eddie Van Halen stripes, and he plays like a mother and can really nail it. That guy's a great guitar player. Incredible, great guitar player. So yeah, that's my answer to that. And I went crazy on that. Panel Power says, I played your Basher of the Day song to a friend of mine, and she said that you sounded like Michael Crawford. Wow. Can I tell you how that's very high compliment? Thank you very much. I might be louder than him, but I loved Michael Crawford. I saw him in Phantom of the Opera about 10 times when I was a kid. I used to cut school and go see Phantom of the Opera at the Majestic Theater. He goes, no more talk of darkness. I love Michael Crawford. Tell your friend, thank you very much. I'm a very big Michael Crawford fan, and I have many of his records. One of my favorite singers, actually. I love him. Joe LaFaro says, Les Paul, great answer. Thanks, buddy. But, I get the Leo Fender thing, too. I really, really do. Miami Manny says, I was at Moda Miami at the Biltmore in Coral Gables. Very swanky. Were you having... What's a good swanky drink to have for that? I would say it's probably a mint julep. That sounds great. Steven Stern. Hey, Steven Stern. Great to see you back in the room. Richie Blackmore, one of my favorite guitar players of all time. I'm one of the biggest Rainbow Deep Purple fanatics ever. Are you a big Richie Blackmore fan? Yeah, I mean, I never professionally played in a cover band, but when I was starting out, we used to play Stargazer and we used to play Lazy and Smoke on the Water. Everybody had to play that. But Blackmore and Yngwie Malmsteen stole half of his shit from Richie Blackmore anyway. The Strat, the scalloped frets. If anybody doesn't know what scalloped frets are, I don't have anything with scalloped frets, but here's the surface of a guitar frets, right? They're beveled, so they're concave, so you get more vibrato out of them. And Richie Blackmore was the first guy to do that. So it's like more like, you're preaching to the choir. Absolutely great. Welcome back to the show, Steve Stern. And it's great to agree on a guitar player. I love Richie Blackmore, one of my favorite guitar players. What's your favorite Richie Blackmore solo? I'm gonna say it's either Gates of Babylon, one take, by the way. Gates of Babylon or God, there's so many. Shit. Mistreated Live. How about that? Or Mistreated Live. Rainbow on Stage. One of my favorites. Because I'm a big Dio fan. So Dio was my mentor. Please talk about Les Paul Starburst. Now he was originally Canadian, right? He lived in New Jersey. I know that. Les Paul. Where was he from originally? Les Paul was from... Oh, no, he's from Wisconsin. Sorry. Close enough. He lived very close by here, and he's got a museum here in Mahwah, New Jersey, and I've been to it. You get to see his first recording consoles, delays, and reverbs that he invented, and the very first multi-track, which he came up with to do How High the Moon with Mary Ford. Yeah, I love him. And Les Paul's, listen, you couldn't give away a Les Paul in the 80s. Everybody wanted these Frankenstrats like Van Halen played. You were Warren DeMartini, or you were, who were the George Lynch. The list goes on and on of the shredders. Vito Bratta from White Lion. These were the guys that were making headlines as the new guitar heroes. Because we had Eddie Van Halen, who was a god, and then you had Randy Rhoads, who came out pretty quickly after that and would have been as big, if not a bigger god. But he didn't revolutionize it the way he could have done it before Yngwie did it, because of his incredible chops and musicality. What an incredible writer he was. He made Ozzy Osbourne. He made him. Without, he never would have gotten, after his drug abuse and getting kicked out of Black Sabbath and laying in a hotel room in Sharon and all that stuff, unless they found Randy Rhoads, I honestly don't think he would have had a career, because all those songs, they're just Crazy Train, I Don't Know, Over the Mountain, Believer, Diary of a Madman. Amazing guitar playing. What a tasty. That's an insider muso term. Like, that guy's really tasty. It means he's like, his note choices are really beautiful, and it's a very it's high praise. It's a high praise, very high praise. So yeah, it's enough. Benjamin White. Hey, I love to see new people in the room. Hey, buddy. Great to see you in the room. Brian May, Red Special. He's the GOAT for me. Queen's my favorite band, and no one sounds like him. No one's ever sounded like him. And listen, 90% of this is here, but him and his dad Harold making that Red Special guitar. For people who don't know Brian May, most people do, but if you don't, Brian May family was not wealthy. His father was an engineer, and they took the mantelpiece off of his fireplace and they made a guitar out of it, and they wired the pickups themselves. They built that guitar from scratch. They did not buy any. Eventually, they swapped out the pickups from a company called Burns, but that guitar was made completely from scratch because he didn't have the money, and he still plays it to this day. Now, of course, he's got backups. He's had Burns and other companies make versions, and you can buy them. You can buy a Brian May guitar, but you're not going to sound like Brian May. And also, the other weird thing is that the most unsung hero of the band Queen is John Deacon, the bass player. Incredible player. Everything about that guy. Colossal songwriter. He wrote another one, Bites the Dust. He wrote You're My Best Friend. He wrote Spread Your Wings. He wrote so many hit singles for those guys. He created this little box called the Deaky And this Deaky box was a mid-range booster. So part of and he invented it because he was he was also an engineer. He went to an engineering school, electronic engineering. So he turned him on to that. So from the get-go, the very first record, he had this little box, his homemade guitar in this homemade box, and therefore it's like Tom Scholz from Boston, who created the Rockman. There's another guy, crazy inventor, who was able to come up with lots of different ways to enhance the sound. If you guys all like that Boston record, it's one of the most colossal sounding records ever made. And it was all done in that guy's basement. So yeah, it's amazing stuff like that. Chuck Berry was a trailblazer for active stagecraft and showmanship. Sorry, I was like, Andy M, welcome. Never too late. But you saw him live? Wow. And he was quite the ladies' man as well. I saw Berry in 1984 live for 1 hour and one encore, then in a limo and gone. Well, good for him. Like, listen, imagine what it was like for this king of rock and roll, this pioneer who did so much and invented an entire genre of music, to suffer from what that guy had to suffer through from just being a black man. I mean, he had to enter clubs through the back door. Like he played in Las Vegas, they would let him through and through the service entrance. What the fuck was wrong with people? It's mind blowing. Like kids today would never even understand that was the thing. Like, how was that? What was that? 500 years ago? No, it wasn't. Chuck Berry is unparalleled for his contribution to the music world. It's just unbelievable what he did for us all. So thank you, Chuck Berry, and agreed 100%. Dana Gutierrez says to Dean, go for a full English breakfast. Well, listen, panel power. Now, you're talking about these guys that, then there's these guys. There's the John McLaughlin's, there's the Al Di Meolas, the jazz fusion-y guys that do all that. I'm not Emmett O'Malley or any of that stuff, but to do all the, they do all the crazy, crazy fast picking, speed picking. Di Meola, I think he picks like almost every note. Out of those three guys, who do I like the best? Paco. John McLaughlin's kind of an atonal guitar player. He's when you hear his electric solos, there's some jazzy notes going on in there. And I always joke, as I'm a jazz fan, but only when it comes to vocal jazz. But when it comes to like Scooby-Doo jazz, it's not my thing. Like I don't sit down and like dig on Miles and shit like that. I get it, but I always say play the right notes. McLaughlin tends to do that. He plays a lot of clashy notes in there that I don't particularly care for. Di Meola is an extremely melodic player. He's an over player too. Here's my fun. You ready for an Al Di Meola story? 25 years ago, I go to see the Cirque du Soleil, and we go find our seats. And it was for a show called, this is the second time I saw Cirque du Soleil, which is incredible if you've never seen it. And I sit down, and frickin' Al Di Meola comes and sits next to me, and he's with some woman. And I'm like, holy shit. And it just so happens that Al Di Meola just recently signed a European record deal with the label I'm on called SPV Records, Schallplatten Verboten, Forbidden Records, in Germany, in Hanover. And I'm like, okay, that's my in. I said, excuse me, Mr. Di Meola, don't want to disturb you. Just want to say hi. I'm a very big fan, and I am a big fan. I own all of his recordings, most of them. Certainly, everybody's got, the trio stuff, but I have Elegant Gypsy and Midnight Rendezvous. I have all that stuff. And I just want to say that this is that of my favorite. And I said, and oddly enough, you and I are on the same record label. And he goes, pardon me? Because he was on Columbia in the United States, which was always considered the Capitol and Columbia were always considered the prestige labels. There's Atlantic and Epic and RCA, lots of other ones. But Columbia was probably the one because it's Streisand and it's Neil Diamond and Bob Dylan, and just there's certain gravitas with Columbia Records, and then Capitol because the Beatles, but the Beatles were licensed to Capitol from Parlophone, so I don't know if that. It's not like they were really signed to Capitol. They weren't. It was the American subsidiary. So I say, and we're on the same level, and I said, oh, SPV, and he goes, What's that? And I went, oh, well, I said, you might not know, but your manager probably. It's a distribution and it's an independent company in Europe. And he goes like this. He goes, oh, and then just ignores me. So Al Di Meola, he's kind of a douche. And I even said, excuse me, Mr. Di Meola. And like if he was a nice guy, I would have blown total smoke up his ass. I would have said Friday night in San Francisco. I would have talked about, so many of his millions of records that I loved my whole entire childhood. I could have totally blown smoke up his ass and been a super fanboy, but he was just kind of a douche. What are you going to do? And yeah, of course he is, McLaughlin, but it's very fast. And I know that guy Pacadillo Chio, though. Oh my God. You know what he is? He's tasty. Very tasty player. Eddie says, I think Chuck Berry was the most important, most innovative. Well, yeah. I mean, Eddie, you've got a great argument for Chuck Berry. I mean, sure. I mean, all those, that's all Chuck Berry riffs. And we all call them that too. Like the whole first, Drew and Melly and all the Kiss freaks and all the guys are there out there that know those Kiss records. Those are all Chuck Berry riffs. All that first couple of Kiss records, everything is a Chuck Berry riff. And they're not that easy to play either, because you got to kind of hold down an entire fret and then play behind it. So it's, those aren't, people think it's easy. It's really not. It's actually, because you got to get your whole forefinger completely calloused in order to pull those off the right way. Because most people, don't do that. But out of those guys, yeah, Chuck Berry, there's no argument there. There's no way. Eddie says the Les Paul's valid. Yeah. I mean, listen, that's why we debate and have a drink and stuff. Why not? Beautiful K, says Andy M. Yes, indeed. Beautiful K. Mahavishnu. I mean, yeah. I mean, sure. Who doesn't love any of that stuff? An argument can be had for any great musician if you love them. I loved Kate Bush my entire life, and people didn't understand her. They thought she sounded like she was sucking on helium. And that, I understand that. I'm not stupid enough to not know that. And then Stranger Things happened. Then all of a sudden the whole world's in love with her. And I wasn't like, see, I told you so. I was like, yes. I was like, that's great. I was very happy to see that happen for her, And yeah, so, but those guys, like when you're in the Mahavishnu and you're like, who made the most money out of all those people? Probably Jimmy Page. Out of all the guitar gods, he certainly made more money than Hendrix. He certainly made more money than Jeff Beck. He certainly made more money than Clapton, right? Van Halen, Yngwie. Yngwie's probably a thousandaire. I don't even know. He's got Ferraris and a lot of Rolexes. Yngwie's a big Rolex junkie. Lots of Daytonas, lots of Datejust. He doesn't have any subs. He's a big watch guy, I don't know who's the guy. Like the guys in like John McLaughlin and Al Di Meola. Those guys probably have a regular house in Jersey. Or I know that John McLaughlin used to be a member of the Shrish and Moy sect, which is kind of a cult in Queens, New York. All their houses were painted robin's egg blue back in the day. So yeah, I don't think he's got a whole lot of money. Miami Manny. Cheers, Dirk and everyone. Cheers to you, Miami Manny, looking as handsome as ever. I like that polo, man. I love polo shirts, as I often wear them on the show. What is that? What kind of polo is that? I like it. I'm always looking for, I like Fashionable polos. Whose brands do I like? I like a lot of different ones. I like Ralph Lauren polos. They fit nicely. Knopfler is very hard. Well, he's another guy who's extremely unique, and yeah, he had his moment in the sun, why he decided to get rid of Dire Straits, I don't know. But he's very successful, and he's a very innovative guitar player. Great guitar player. Love him. Who doesn't love Mark Knopfler? I don't know if he's in that exactly. I mean, he could have been. His style is so unique, so you might be quite right there. Dean says, Daniel, full English hard work make you. Yeah, well, you eat full. People should eat that at night. And I actually like to have breakfast food at night, because it makes you go right straight to bed. Danny Gutierrez says, Dirk, curious, what is Paolo's favorite drink? He's a Scotch guy. And he's not a fancy Scotch guy. He likes Dewar's and water. I mean, likes the really good stuff. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I mean, his go-to when I met him, it was Doers and water, and to this day, I have Doers in the house. We also have like Johnny Black. We have Johnny Double Black. Recently, he finished off the bottle of Johnny Blue that he got for his birthday like 5 years ago from Emmett and Dana. And yeah, he's a Scotch guy. That's his number one thing. He'll drink wine. He likes wine. He's drinking wine right now. He likes wine. And beer if it's a hot day. But his go-to drink, Scotch. And he loves, believe me, he that's why I said I wish to God I liked Scotch, because then I could go to Isla and taste Scotch. Now I would love him to go there. So one day I hope to get to go to Isla, and I hope I have a little modicum of knowledge. Like I could read all I want, but you need to taste it too. Like wine, I know wine I could drink if I go to Burgundy or Bordeaux or Champagne or any of those places. I've got a pretty good acumen, so I can figure it out. But whiskey, man, I just never really drank it because I when I have tasted it, I didn't like it, and that's really, really, really sad. That's it's a shame. It's a shame. But yeah. Thank you so much. Ray with $2. Your Deep Purple Child in Time vocals. Did I do that? Did I do Child in Time? I don't think I'm afraid to do that. $2. Wow, I mean, God. If you're talking about vocal gods, listen. Child in Time is one of the sickest rock vocals ever recorded, ever. And, he previous to that, he had done Jesus Christ Superstar. He's my favorite Jesus. I always get into arguments with the O'Malleys over because they're 8 and 10 years younger than me. So they like Ted Neely from the movie. And I don't hate Ted Neely, but he can't even shine Ian Gillan's shoes. I mean, he's okay. He's all right. I don't know if I ever did. Did I ever do Child in Time? At this point with the Bashers, I've recorded so many cover songs. I never did that before in my life, and it's fun. But I love Child in Time. And Gillan was at the top of his game. Gillan was, like I've hung out with him. I've told my famous story about my lost weekend with Ian Gillan, how he took me under his wing, and I could not keep up with that guy because I'm not a big ass drinker, and I've never used drugs. I didn't see him use drugs either, to be fair. He did not. He smoked a lot of cigarettes, though. A lot. So bad that I think he went through 2 packs of cigarettes, and he goes, "Where do you buy cigarettes at 3:00 in the morning?" And I was like, 7-Eleven? I didn't know. Then he told his driver, "Go find a 7-Eleven." This is pre-internet. This is when I hung out with Ian Gillan. It was 1994, 5, and he took me on the wildness. I mean, it was so bad that he gave my parents' phone number to his wife, Braun, who he just lost about 2 years ago. She was a very patient and wonderful, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful woman. And she would call my parents' house and say, "Dirk, is he in there?" I'm like, "Oh, he's crashed on the couch right now. We hit it kind of hard last night." She's like, "Tell him to call," and then I'd have to wait for him to call me because I don't know where he went. I'm assuming he wound up with some bird somewhere. But fun stuff. Ian Gillan was a crazy, crazy person. And I've told this story before, but if you'd never heard it before, I was playing a show at the Cat Club in New York City. And it was just a show. It just was not a showcase or anything. We were working on our second record, and we were debuting a couple of new songs or whatever. And the owner of the club came backstage and said, "Hey, Dirk, are you a Deep Purple fan?" And I was like, "Yeah, is Bear Shit in the Woods?" He's like, "Well, Ian Gillan's outside and he wants to meet you." And I said, "Yeah, go fuck yourself." "What do you mean Ian Gillan is here?" What do you mean? What do you mean he wants to meet me? Why would Ian Gillan want to meet me? He's like, "No, really, him and Roger Glover are outside and they enjoyed the show." And he goes, "Can I bring him back?" I was like, "Can you bring Ian Gillan backstage right now?" The backstage there was like a closet. And Ian Gillan shows up. He's like, "Mate, I just want to say, great show. 2 things. Lose the monitors, lose the wireless mic." And I was like, "What? What? I'm not really hearing what's happening right now." And he goes, "I never use monitors. You listen to your head." And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Oh, so what's with the radio mic?" That's what he called it, a radio mic. And I was like, well, because that stage is so small. He goes, you don't need that. You need that for a stadium because the wired mics sound better. I said, okay, whatever you want. So we started talking. He asked me what my influences were. And then I told him that I kind of knew Ronnie James Dio. And that was, when I was very, very young, Ronnie James Dio had kind of coached me on singing hard rock and heavy metal. And he's like, oh, Ronnie, he discovered him because Roger Glover and Ian Gillan saw this band called Elf in a club, and they signed them to Deep Purple's record label called Purple Records. And then they took Elf on the road. And then, of course, Richie Blackmore, when he left Deep Purple, he stole him and created Rainbow. So he's like, I discovered him. I was thinking to myself, oh my God, did Ian Gillan just discover me now? Of course, that's going through your head when you're 21 years old or whatever the hell you are, And anyway, we wound up hanging out 2 nights in a row. And the funny story is that my sister Pat answered the phone at my parents' house. And I was asleep because, Ian Gillan had me out all night. And the phone rings. And, hi, can I speak to Dirk, please? And she's like, who's calling? And she goes, Ian Gillan. She goes, yeah, sure. Click, because she's a huge Purple fan. And so he calls back. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. No, really, can I speak to Dirk? She's like, you're Ian Gillan? Okay, blah, blah, blah. And then she knocks on my door. She goes, there's a guy on the phone who says he's Ian Gillan. I'm like, it's really him. I swear to God. And she opens the door. She goes, what? So I got on the phone. He's like, I'll pick you up at like 3 p.m. or whatever. 5. I don't remember when it was. Anyway, that's my Ian Gillan story. So thanks. These are Big Bang Boom, my long-winded story. And I'll give you, for that, two balloons. You get cowbells for that. Cowbells. Let's go with some cowbells. Hold on a second. Can I call my waiter? Hey, waiter, can I have some more wine? Because usually I can leave the room if Hijinx is here, but I don't know. He blew off the classic Bashers today. Let me see if he's coming on here. I'm going to send him a message. Did he not? Are you not joining up tonight? Oh, just say hey. So there's the Big Bang Boom for you. Thank you so much, buddy boy. Comments. I got a couple of super chats I want to get to just to make it nice for everybody. Rufus with $1.99, just representing my Thunder Broom Bass Brothers. Look at that. What do you got there? Nice. Is that? I can't see what that is from here. Is that a jazz or a P bass? But looks great, Rufus. I have a Sheen's Rick here. And I use it. I mean, if I had my druthers, Rick is my favorite bait. Oh, he's coming on at 5. Just representing my Thunder Broom bass. Thank you so much, Rufus. Thank you so much. Let's give you Super Tattoo. How cute is this? He brought me a piece of semolina bread. And I was like, I don't eat on the show. I'm not like other streamers where Tim Wright, where you eat during your show. I mean, I'll eat if I'm on a walkabout and I'm in a restaurant, but like if I'm in my studio, I just think it's uncouth. I'm sorry. I'm not going to order takeaway and have that on my show. I just don't think that's the thing to do. And Jenny Gutierrez for the weekend, dear bastards, the Gallery of Bastards. Yeah. Hey, Garcon. Hold on a second, gang. You don't hear me? No. I'm yelling. Oh. I have to leave my show now. I wanted some wine. Oh, I thought you were getting excited about it. No, it's like Garcon. Oh, but that's why I didn't register. Sorry about that, gang. This is what I'm having. So you know what it is. Sainte Marguerite Medoc 2008. It was very reasonable too. It was like $25. I was going to get the Margot that I always get, and that was $45. I was like, you know what? This is 10 years older. Let me get this, and it's quite good. Anyway, headphones in the other room. God damn it. Thank you so much, Daniel. Story time is the best. Upvote everyone. Perhaps Oisin met Nice Days coming in on 5. Her family owns a vineyard and an art gallery. Oh, I have heard nothing. Can I just say I've heard absolutely nothing about the date night? And I don't pry because I'm a friend. Friends don't pry. He will tell me when he wants to. That's fine. Listen, you know what? People's love lives are private and how they want to handle them and what they want to share. And I'm not a digger. Like, it's my buddy. If he wants to tell me how it went or whatever, she was hot or whatever. She was a skank. It's a great New York word, skank. Yeah, so who knows? Steve, man, I couldn't agree more. Can I talk to you a minute, Steve Stern? Can I turn you on to a band if you're not onto them already with Steve Morse? Steve Morse did a decent job subbing in, especially with Sometimes I Feel Like Screaming. Man, so I love Steve Morse. Oh, man, do I love him. Not only that, but he's a beautiful person as well. He's a beautiful, beautiful guy. So there's a band called Flying Colors. Do you know them, Steve Stern? Now, that is Mike Portnoy from Dream Theater, an old friend of mine from way back when. And this great singer named, what's his name? CJ, I forget. And a bass player I'm not familiar with. And then a guy who's from a band called Spock's Beard. And they're a prog hard rock band with really catchy, beautiful songs. But I want you to check out 2 songs. A Place in Your World and Love Letter. And I'm missing a great one. Oh shit. I want you to look because Steve Morse. Oh God, he's so great on this. Flying Colors band. I'm gonna miss this song, and I've watched it 50 times. Albums. It's the second album. The first album I don't know that well. Flying Colors. It's Second Nature, I think, is the best one. Even though the third one was great. Binary Dark Places was a Riverside. Oh, yes. No, maybe I'm wrong about this. Oh, shit. Oh, wow. I don't know anything on this record. Not a single song. So maybe it's the first one? Let me see. Flying Colors. They're a super group. Flying Colors. 2012. Blue Ocean, Kayla, The Storm, No, Infinite Fire, Steve Stern. What is that? I don't know what the hell these songs are. Hey, who's in the room? It's Shane O'Malley is here. Hey, buddy boy.
Hey, man.
We're having fun. Thanks so much. Of course, you get the super chat gong because you rock the world. This is the one that belongs only to him. I don't give this gong to anybody but Andy. And Joe LaFaro for Les Paul and Mrs. Paul. And then she divorced him about 5 years later. How fucked up is that, Joe LaFaro? So much for love, right? We're talking about Mary Ford, of course. Eddie's in the room. I'm going to give you a huge super chat for that. Thanks, Joe. Eddie asked me, who do I think is the most, he goes, not your favorite or player wise, who do you think is the most important guitar player in the history of guitar? And I said, Les Paul.
Right, because of his influence, yeah.
And what he invented, you know.
You know what I was thinking of?
Chuck Berry.
This is slightly, this is extending beyond. So I put out a thing the other day on my Instagram and on my TikTok. By the way, those 2 audiences are very different. So I got like 40,000 views on my TikTok and like 1,000 on my Instagram, whatever. But it was about, the Canadians taking all the Jack Daniels off their shelves.
Sure.
You saw that, right?
Yeah, I saw it.
And I put a thing up going, no one's going to miss it. Like, American booze is nice, but it's not like we
Jack
don't have
Daniels, though. I don't
better
know
shit. No, Jack Daniels was awful. Woodford Reserve is nice and so on.
But you know how many people, though, like snobbery aside, though, like Frank Sinatra only drank Jack Daniels. He refused to. He had all the money in the world, but that's what he liked.
Well, that doesn't mean anything, Jack. And if you're into whiskey, you know it's the most garbage whiskey. In the
No,
world.
but that's
it
not the
is
point,
piss.
though. The point is people want it.
Sure. Okay.
It's
fine.
it's not Talisker or some amazing. Sure, it's like
It's not even close to even something basic. But anyway, it doesn't matter. You're not a whiskey guy, and it doesn't matter.
no, I know. We were just talking about that a minute ago.
But I was just saying, like, there's plenty of everything else. I mean, within the United States is fine, but
Yeah,
is anyone
Canadian
going to
whiskey,
really miss
Crown
it? I was
Royal.
basically speaking to the Canadians, like, you're not going to miss any of this stuff, And then I thought of a list. I was thinking, what would we miss? I know it's only Mexico and Canada, but if it was the whole world, which isn't that far-fetched an idea right now.
No.
If it was the whole world that had to say, listen, we've got to take everything American off the shelves, what would we miss? Because I'm thinking to myself, like, the average American with money buys French wine, Italian couture, or French and Italian couture, right?
Yeah.
Swiss watches, etc., etc. The list goes on, right?
Yeah.
What would we miss? One
Ford,
of the only things,
Chevrolet, Dodge. Dude, Ford is the best-selling car in the world.
Ford is the best-selling car in the world. Am I facing your insularism again?
No,
best-selling car.
Not at all.
I mean, Chevrolet. Absolutely, no one on the entire planet of the Earth, except for one country, has Chevrolet cars.
Chevrolet is a big company. I've seen Chevrolet in other countries.
I've never in my life. And how many countries have I lived in?
Ford is huge. Every country has Ford. Everybody. How about Coca-Cola? How about Pepsi Cola?
Cola is a good one. The ones I could think of were guitars. There were Gibson and Fender.
Sure.
And then Steinway pianos.
Right. But like, listen, at the end of the day, you can always buy a Yamaha or a Busendorfer or a Bechstein. You could also guitars. You could buy, who makes great guitars? That's fucked up. God, all the great guitars are American, aren't they? Fuck.
Yes. I mean, lots of other countries make them, but in the same way as the United States make decent wines, nobody gives a shit. It's like, so there are Taylor. No, Taylor is American. Is it Taylor American?
Yeah, Taylor's American.
There are guitars made over here in Europe, but who gives a shit? Everybody wants a Gibson Les Paul or a Fender Strat.
Shoot, you just blew my mind with the fact that, you know what? Even fucking shitty PRSs are American, and I fucking hate them.
This doesn't go across all instruments because,
yeah, Levi's.
Violins and trombones.
No, that means nothing.
That's all
Levi's.
Different.
That's huge.
McDonald's is big.
McDonald's is huge. Yeah. Of course, people, when we talk about these companies like Ford, they make them in other countries, and McDonald's are franchises, and Apple computers, they make all their shit in China and blah, 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 blah. But if there was a thing like no American goods, then their stuff, it's significant.
The things that, I wouldn't.
Most people don't buy couture.
I think the world would be done a favor without McDonald's and things like that.
They would be, because it's garbage.
But I was thinking of the things that we would miss that are good, and the guitars, the Steinway piano from New York,
sure,
and then the TV. I was like Breaking Bad and fucking The Sopranos or whatever is going to come out next.
Yeah,
not that the British don't make great TV; they do.
They do.
The Aussies
make great films.
Others, and now the Italians are making amazing TV.
Yeah,
but I'd still be curious, like, what the fuck are they making over there? So I just went through a list. That's all, because there's no way there's no cuisine that the world would miss.
No cuisine, no.
Jim
Patterson says Stinger missiles. That's a good one. You're thinking deeply, my friend. That's pretty good.
All the Sidewinder missiles.
That's
all the
good.
Shit.
Like my brain doesn't even go there, and like you did. So
yeah, whose brain? I was asking my audience earlier, and they were like, "Yeah, active shooters in schools." We don't have them over here.
Yeah, that's true. Paul Dunauer, who I'd never seen before, Darrenauer, who I'd never met on the show, he's been pretty vocal today. Great. The best pacemakers are made in Minnesota. You know, I read an article about that about a year ago.
That's good to know. I like
isn't that? And it was, I was reading an article about a German heart patient who needed a pacemaker, and they have several options. You think Germany, you think the highest possible quality, you know, the most incredible craftsmanship, and they don't make pacemakers because the ones made in Minnesota are the de facto ones that everybody wants. Isn't that crazy?
No, but that's very interesting. I'd love to hear that.
Me too.
Meanwhile, Americans want German cars or Italian cars.
Sure.
They want.
I don't know. They don't want Italian cars because Italian cars are beautiful, but they're garbage. Ferraris are garbage.
Ferrari, Maserati, Bugatti.
They're garbage. Their engines are garbage.
Lamborghini.
Yeah, it's status.
Alfa Romeo.
But their engines all fail, and you have to. The people who own them must have X amount of money in the bank to repair them while they're beautiful and they're storied.
Like buying a Patek Philippe.
Yeah, well, is Patek Philippe always serviced?
I mean, you have to get nice watches serviced.
Yeah. Most Ferraris break down within a year or two, and
everyone with money wants a fucking Ferrari.
No, because it's a status symbol. But are they great? No, I think the great ones are the fucking German cars
because they're a bit more solid.
Like
the
perfect
guys
example.
from Top Gear. Do you remember that show?
Top Gear? I loved Top
the guys from Top Gear said the Ferrari is the greatest car they've ever driven
because it's like the biggest dick in the room. You know, who doesn't want a Ferrari? It's the sexiest. It means you have money. It exudes
I think Maserati
elegance.
is more interesting. Personally.
I do too. I've always been a fan, but I'm not a fan of Maserati anymore because now
Joe LaFaro agrees.
What does Joe LaFaro say? Maserati?
He just said he likes Maserati.
You have a Maserati. You know what my problem is? Which one did you get, Joe? My problem is that, so I went to the Maserati tour in Torino about 10 years ago. God, I guess it was. And we were there on the line. It was before they came out with the SUV. It was before it came out. And they just had, you know, like the Gran Turismo, and they had, what was the really small, more inexpensive one? I forget off the top of my head. I used to be obsessed with it. But they said that they were only making money from the Chinese market. And if you look at anybody driving a car in New York City who's got a Maserati, everyone's from China. It's the biggest car, the biggest export. They are obsessed with Maseratis. I forget the name of that thing. And now they have like their SUV came out a couple of years ago. Now they have the Gran Cali and all that stuff. But man, that's the biggest selling Italian car since Alfa Romeo was big in the 70s in America.
Well, what about Fiat?
Well, Fiat is
probably the biggest selling car, or one of them in the world. And they don't make anything here. We don't have that presence. But Fiat is a parent company for so many giant brands. Fiat owns Lamborghini, right? Who owns Lamborghini? Let's go look up what Fiat owns. They own everybody, man. It's Fiat SPA, right? That's the name of the company. They're fucking huge.
They own everything. Let's see what their subsidiaries are. Wow. Oh, they are in Torino also.
Oh, that's where that's Torino's there.
Yeah, Torino.
Well, that was the famous it was what's his name who wore the watches outside his over his
Johnny Agnelli. Yeah, Johnny Agnelli. Yeah, that was cool look though. That guy had game, man, and a half.
Yeah.
Okay, so they own Maserati, Alfa Romeo, Lancia, Ferrari.
Lancia.
Yeah,
Lancia are big.
Yeah, Lancias. Everybody has a Lancia. The regular bloke in Italy has a Lancia. That's what they have. I love Alfas. I think they're sexier than hell.
Alfa Romeo?
I love Alfas, man.
Oh, yeah.
I love the Giulia. Oh, man.
They're considered a pretty great car.
Yeah, it's a great car.
I'll tell you what the Italians like, and the Italians are obsessed with their cars. Like, it's a thing. It's a passion. Don't get between Italians and their automobiles. It's it's a religion, okay?
Yeah.
And they're insanely good drivers. Even the women, sorry, but like they are incredible. I know that sounds terrible, like a terrible thing to say. But
it's Friday night. You could say whatever the hell you want.
I can say whatever they want. But I'll tell you what they love here. I mean, obviously they aspire to the big shit, but that's too expensive.
Mm-hmm.
They love their Golfs, their Volkswagen Golfs.
Yeah, sure.
Volkswagen. They love their Mercedes.
They love the Hitler car.
Yeah.
The people's wagon.
Yeah. Volkswagen. Yeah.
Yeah.
The wagon of the people.
The wagon of the people.
They love Mercedes, as they call it here.
Yeah.
They love Porsches, and yeah, they like Italian cars. Some of them appreciate Chrysler. I've met car enthusiasts who like Chrysler, and some of them are interested in Tesla as well.
Chrysler, I mean, my brother was a Chrysler collector back in the day. My brother's a big motorhead, and which is odd because I've never had a driver's license, but I know about cars because of my brother. And he had like a Chrysler LeBaron from the 1965 Chrysler LeBaron. He had a Newport, and they were the big boats. Like we had those big 60s boats. They were horrible gas guzzlers, but they were very romantic and big American cars.
Yeah.
So Chrysler, and that's another company that when like GM in America started to fail, and of course it's all based on the unions failing because people are lazy cunts and they don't want to do anything anymore. And let the union will protect me. Well, no, we'll just move it to Mexico or whatever country we want to make you, and you're going to lose your job. That's what kind of happened there. But Chrysler started selling their products outside of the United States in a big way to the Asian market, which is very big because don't forget, Japan had a huge, tremendous automotive market, but China didn't. China was like has some brands you've never heard of. Now they've got some brands that we're starting to hear about more, but it was locked up. But Chrysler, and here's another weird brand that's very big in Asia, is GM's Buick brand. Buick, the one brand like Chevy, you think GM, you think, oh, okay, Pontiac is gone, Oldsmobile is gone. What's left? Buick and Chevrolet, and that's it. And Buick is huge in Asia because it's luxurious, and they like we're coming out of our, we're more capitalist society now. We want some more interesting stuff, and that's a big thing out there too. And also, sorry, Joe, I just have to look something up real quick. And Stellantis, I've heard that name a million times. It's a conglomerate that owns Fiat, because when Fiat and Chrysler merged, for some reason they had to come up with a new name, so it wasn't, I guess, considered a monopoly. Very cool.
Yeah, because in Beijing they're going to go after the Chateau Lafitte's.
Well, they bought all
level stuff and Ferraris. Of course, these are just high level stuff. You go into couture, it's Brunello Cucinelli or Cucinelli rather, and Loro Piana and so on, and etc. etc. The list goes on. I was just curious, I was just curious.
Listen,
I don't think an Irish person would ever, I don't think Europeans would miss or even notice American products except
the basics
for USA guitars. What?
The basics, though. You listen.
What do you mean the basics?
This is kind of an elevated level
McDonald's.
of thinking. You're thinking about like good shit. What about the Gap and Banana Republic? That shit's there in Europe too. People buy that. It's all American.
No, we don't really use the Gap much here. H&M, where's that from? That's not from America, is it?
I think that's Asian. H&M. No. H&M is that Dutch? IKEA Swedish. H&M. Where's H&M from?
You have to remember, you live in
Stockholm, Swedish. Stockholm. No, please don't
H&M.
play that. Don't play that insular shit. I'm not an insular American, and you fucking know it.
I know,
So
but
please
you just
don't
said.
say that.
What did you just say was? What were you saying? Buick? Or you said Ford was the best-selling car in the world?
Ford has his. Maybe it's not now because you've got Genesis and all these emerging brands. Like here's an example. My brother only buys Hyundais now. Now I believe Hyundai is is it Korean?
Yeah,
now my brother drove that car into the ground. He had like 400,000 miles on it, and before that he was the Chrysler guy. He was the American guy. But he said, you know what, I spent $32,000 on this car and I had it for 15-20 years, and he's a real
Toyota.
That's the biggest selling in the world.
Yeah. Tesla's up there.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. It's dropping now.
See ya. Everybody's getting rid of their Teslas, and all the orders were
they've
canceled.
lost a lot of money. Did
He needs to not be a dick.
Yeah, he could not be a dick, and then it might work better.
People don't realize people want to spend money on companies when they trust the people who run them.
Most people don't even know who runs Toyota, but unfortunately, we know who runs Tesla.
Now, Toyota's been around forever and ever. By the way, as an American, the first companies we ever saw here outside, because American cars were so big, they had the monopoly on it for the majority of the lifespan of cars until the 70s.
Yeah.
And in the 70s, first company we saw was Datsun. Now, are you old enough to remember the name Datsun?
Yeah,
That became Nissan.
Nissan.
And then Toyota.
Right.
And everybody's like, oh, the Toyota Corolla. That car showed up on American showings. And people are like,
that's everywhere.
Everywhere. And
it's like the Seiko, what's it? The SKX.
Right. That's exactly what it is.
It's everywhere.
Yeah. And meanwhile, when I was a kid, every time we went over to Ireland, which was 3-4 times a year since the time I'm like a zygote, my father always rented Opals.
The Opals, yeah.
Now Opals, who made Opals?
I don't know.
I think it was GM.
This conversation.
Yeah, Opal cars. I'm pretty sure it's a division, or it was a division at some time, of GM. Let's see if I'm right. Opal, PSA Group, also General Motors. Up until 2017, and it was sold to, ready for this, Fiat Chrysler.
Right.
Yeah. So when I was a kid, we got 2 cars. We had the Volkswagen. Do you remember those Volkswagens in Ireland that had the little like saloon in the back? They were kind of like small station wagons.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we always got that, or we got an Opal. I'm like, I'd never heard of Opal before. And they had the market on it. And then the Asian cars just came and swallowed up the world. So I think in terms of cars, obviously Ford is nowhere near as big as it used to be. I don't think they care about that, but there's a ton of shit. The world is so fucking global now, and we're thinking so small. Fuck you and your
Hey, there's a car I haven't thought of in ages. Jim Patterson, thank you. Saab,
yeah.
The Saab 9000. Do you remember that thing?
Yeah. Do you want me to give you a Seinfeld reference? Because Jerry Seinfeld only drove Saabs on his show, all he did was get ripped off. And there's a great interaction between him and Elaine's boyfriend, Puddy. And he finds out that all the shit that they sell you at a car dealership is total bullshit. Like the undercoating and this protection and all that stuff. It was really good. Invented. He loves, what does he love? Breitlings and Saabs.
He likes Breitling and Saab. That's funny.
He's he's a brand. He's a brand.
They go hand in hand, because Breitling, I suppose, is somewhat a thing of the past, or at least it's not in its heyday anymore. That's what I mean.
We're all sad about that, though, because
I am
great
sad.
Watch. I would love a Breitling. I would love that pistachio. I think they're beautiful. Look, listen, I had a nice experience with Easy that day we went in there, and I'd like to go do a show there, because that girl, if she's still running the place, was so eager to prove, because I had a Rolex on and he had an Omega. No, he had a Rolex. He was wearing a what was he wearing? Explorer 2. And she's like, "Oh, you guys are Rolex guys." I was like, "No, I'm like an Omega guy." I love Breitling. I was like, I love the Navitimer in Pistachio. I love that thing. And she was so eager. They're eager, and they had Brad Pitt, and he fucked them hard, and that's a shame. And they don't have anybody. They need some super great celebrity to come.
They had Charlize Theron, Brad Pitt.
Yeah. Well, Brad Pitt was wearing Rolex, and Richard Mille, and being a dick. You can't do that when you're a brand ambassador. I said, get John Hamm. He's not that famous anymore. But he's cool, and people think he's cool. And he would look great with a Breitling on.
Yes, he would.
He would look cool with a Breitling. And he wears a fucking Apple Watch.
Yeah, what difference does it make to him? Just take the fucking deal and wear a Breitling every day. Who cares?
Yeah.
You can wear the Apple Watch on the other wrist if you want. Apple Watch is not a watch. It's a goddamn phone on your wrist.
It's not a watch. It's to make sure you're about to have a heart attack.
Yeah.
That's all it's for. How many steps did you do today?
Emails.
How many steps? I had 31,000 steps.
Just because it's on your wrist.
Yeah.
Does that mean if I strap a cigar to my wrist, it's a watch? Like,
Yeah,
just
it's
because you
not.
stick it on the end of your wrist doesn't make it.
No, it's not. There's something to be said. Panel Power says my Saab 9.3 is still going. Yeah, you can't kill Saabs. And Joe, I know you're right. Seinfeld in reality, he loves Saabs, but he also collects crazy Porsches.
Well, Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's a different thing.
Yeah.
Biggest prick on earth.
On the show, he was all about Saabs because on the show, he wasn't Jerry Seinfeld. He was Jerry Seinfeld, but he wasn't Jerry Seinfeld. Cadillac was just named the 11th team to start in Formula One. That's weird.
That's interesting.
Yeah, Cadillac being a storied American luxury brand.
What's a town car? In New York when you call those gypsy cars.
It's a Lincoln.
Oh, that's a Lincoln, right?
Yeah.
Ain't no way a Lincoln is better than a Cadillac. Cadillac got more power, got more room for your legs. He's got more power. He already said that. I said that? Sorry, I'm doing a movie quote, see if anybody gets it.
Yeah, totally true as well. There's just Cadillac's always had a better little design ethos. It's just always been a little sexier. Good Lincolns have always been a little bit more blocky and square. But Cadillac had the 59 Cadillac.
Joe for the win.
Joe for the win.
I was waiting.
Yeah, of course he knew that.
Cadillac's got more power.
I don't think any car guy though. Well, that's one of the best scenes he ever did in his life.
And I love those big. I love the big floaty boat feeling.
Yeah,
in the Lincoln town cars.
Yeah,
and they're playing Spanish music because they're like, it's a non habla español. You're like screwed in New York. You have to have Spanish in New York, especially outside of Manhattan. And I still can't speak Spanish.
Me neither. Nathaniel Hannon said, "Don't forget Post-it notes. 3M." Is anybody still using Post-it notes? Do you think?
Here's a question: why don't Americans use the A4 system for paper? A4 system uses the pi 2 equation, which means if you fold an A4 in half, you get an A4 in half its size, perfect, and so on and so forth. America have the legal. What are all the measurements? The letter, the legal, the large.
8.5 by 11, baby.
8.5
by 11.
We have the weirdest shapes. Over here we have the A4 page, which if you multiply it by, if you keep going, if you go down to A-1, A-2, it just keeps going in the same ratio. It's like the most beautiful equation. Like pi, is it pi 2? What is it? What is the equation? Nathaniel, you can help me on this one. And it'll just, it's the number that never repeats the same pattern ever again. Pi. It's not pi. It's not 3.14 or 0.314 or whatever. It's 2.2 squared or something. And it's like the most beautiful equation in the world. And that's the A4 page. You guys have a totally different system. It's weird. It's awkward.
3.14.
No, 3.14 is pi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm talking about two. You're
gonna have to clarify here.
Yeah, I will.
Come on, educate the crew.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm just gonna start singing pi.
It's late here. It's two. It's the square 2 A series. Squared 2.
Well, I mean, we're still on imperial over here. So
it's the square root of 2.
Okay.
The square root of 2 is an infinite number that goes on forever and never repeats. And it's a beautiful thing because A4, A3, A1, and so on and so forth. And they
A1, the Americans say good steak sauce.
They result as the division of that.
Sure. Well, everything's in integers of what, that makes complete sense. Why imperial is an antiquated system. We just never could get off of it. I remember, Rush, and I'm telling you, when I was a kid, we were told, like when I was in the 4th grade, we're about to switch over to the metric system. It's going to be happening within the next year. We're going to start learning metric. And we were all like, oh shit. Never happened. Never happened. Never. Donald Gillan, $20. Hey guys, cheers. Thank you, Donald. You rock, bro. You say some scandalous shit again.
You've got the letter, the legal, the tabloid, the ledger, the junior legal 5.8, the half letter 5.5 times 8.5. That's disgusting. That's what is that? That doesn't mean anything. Government letter, government legal. Oh, and then you've got ANSI. I forgot about ANSI.
I don't even know what any of that means. I just go print.
Print the page.
Print. I do know because of my Dragon Lady shit that when she faked our lease, when she came up with a new version to present to the courts, when she forged our original lease, it was in a different format than what mine looked like. And she had altered it. And I was like, what is this? It was like this long form crazy thing. And I was like, it was so weird. And the judge was like, that's not real.
The
judge was like, what is that? She's like, oh, this is what I got. I was like, he goes, that's not real.
Yeah, so the paper sizes over here are based on the square root of 2. Okay, so A4 is the square root of 2.
Nathaniel, where are you? I always said when he was in here earlier.
He doesn't know this shit already.
He knows this shit. I said, listen, I sat at a table across some very smart people, but I said, that guy scares the shit out of me. Because he's like, well, atus in Latin from the Germanic form, he'll give you like 50 variables of a suffix. I'm like, oh boy. Talk to the crowd. I get to take a pee break real quick.
Okay, go. Bala. You cut one in half. We can see you. Okay. I'll turn you off. There you go. Bala, you cut one in half. You get 2 pieces of the next smallest size, height, and width in the same proportion. That's A4. That's the square root of 2. One can achieve this by having the height and width ratio square root of 2 to 1, or approximately 1.414 to 1. You see? This is what I'm talking about. Thank you, Bala. It's very late here. I've been fucking frying my brain out editing the video. Oh, JC Kingsley. I got chat back. Awesome. What was wrong with your chat? That was so weird the other night. Not sure what the heck was going on. Thought Dirk banned me just for giggling. No, Dirk doesn't ban people. I'm the banner. Dirk doesn't ban anyone. Ray, €2. Fred Flintstone's car can never break down. Just saying. Yeah. I find all this stuff very interesting. Like all these rudiments that we base our world on. I mean, think of it. We're all into watches. Think about what we base that on. Chopping up our year, basically, is what we did. Rufus, how's the editing going? It's always the same when it gets to this point. I can deliver the video tomorrow and it will be good. I can deliver the video on Sunday and it will be better than good. I need to deliver it by Sunday. Tomorrow's my last day of putting stuff together because the guys have just released the watches, so it's kind of the 11th hour, but this is always the case. Trying to make the video compelling. The problem is once you post the video, that's it forever. So it better be fucking good. So it's a balance of putting it out now versus putting it out well. I think there was a director who said that years ago. Was it James Cameron or someone? You can have my movies on, you can have them on DVD. You can have them now on DVD, or you can have them in good quality later or something. He said at the time, nobody was expecting Blu-ray to come along. Joel Farrow, when are we going to get the Veneziano story? Oh boy. Sure, I'll do that video. Especially now that I'm doing the Zero West. I mean, the Zero West watches, they're talking about this guy whose Spitfire was shot down over the fjords of Norway in 1942. And they found the plane only like 10 years ago or something. And they're reconstructing the plane. They're actually going to make it fly again. And if you saw the state, it's like pieces. They're going to make it fly again. They have to rebuild a lot of pieces, obviously. But these motherfuckers from Zero West, they got their hands on some of the metal from the original thing. And not only that, but the metal is on the side of the watch. Not only that, but the back of the watch, you can't see it. But if you hold ultraviolet light up to it, it reveals Morse code. They have Morse code for the signal from Stalag Luft 3, the prisoner camp, the Great Escape, Steve McQueen, that whole thing. And they have the coordinate, the famous signal that was put out March 24th, 1944, when they said escape tunnel Harry, because there were 3 tunnels, Tom, Dick, and Harry. Escape tunnel Harry at 10:30 tonight. That's when everybody tried to get out of that tunnel and escape to freedom. They have that in Morse code, but if you can only see it if you hold UV light up to it. And once you remove the UV light, it disappears as a nod to the covert nature of their entire thing. It's amazing connection that they have to the story. That's exactly what you want if you're going to tell a story. Then it's Yannico make zero effort to connect their watches with the shit that they name it at. They have Redentore, they have Neride. There's nothing, no design cues, no nothing connected. It's just fucking like ambulance chasers. It's disgusting. Makes me sick.
What did I miss? It sounds good.
They're asking me about Venezianico. But I was also I was talking about the watches I'm working on the review right now. I can talk about them because they released them already. They're already on their website. That happened this morning. Oh. So now I can open my mouth, because before then it was top secret. I wasn't even allowed to keep the watches. I had to film them all frantically in 3 days and then give them back. But now I can talk about them, and they're astonishing. The connection, it's the Great Escape. It's Steve McQueen.
Sure.
And Charles Bronson and all those boys. Yeah, it's a classic. So it's fun.
This is beyond my pay grade, but Paul Dowenauer says the number E.
Well, he looks like a scientist.
He does look like a scientist, right?
E is the energy.
Right.
If he's talking about E equals MC squared, right? So the relativity, which, by the way, is no longer used anymore. Now it's just E equals, what is it now? It's not even MC squared. It's not the mass versus the universal constant, because I think they just work the universal constant into the equation now, and scientists don't even use E equals MC squared. By the way, E equals MC squared was not how they originally wrote it. It just sounds better when you write it that way. They wrote it backwards originally, but it didn't
C2 is what they're saying now.
C2.
Yeah. This is the best line of the night, though. Fred Flintstone's car never broke down. Just saying.
That's what Ray said.
Yabba dabba doo. First of all, that theme song, whoever wrote those theme songs for the Jetsons, that's the sickest theme song ever written in the history of the world.
E is the mathematical constant. Sorry.
Right.
Okay.
That's totally true. But beat the Flintstones. I'm just thinking about it. But how about let's think about the Jetsons. Do you remember? Do you know the Jetsons very well?
I do know them, but I don't know them as well as you do.
Hold on. No, they're not going to hit us for that, right? Would they?
Oh boy,
I don't care. It's the sickest musical theme ever written for TV, or it's fucking crazy.
Well, don't get us hit with anything.
What are we going to get?
We still have that warning on our channel. It won't go away. It's supposed to go away after.
That's true.
It hasn't gone away.
Why is that? Are you a revision fuck up?
Okay, panel power, you're right. Einstein wrote M equals E
Or
over
Bernstein.
over C squared. Huh?
Or Bernstein.
M equals E over C squared. He never wrote E equals MC squared.
Correct. He
That's
never
exactly right. It just sounds better.
did. Yeah.
E equals MC squared. And they're fucking deadly. I love that shit.
Yeah, that shit is pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. I mean, to this day, I mean, then, you know, there's the theory of relativity, and then there's the special theory. We were talking earlier about Elon Musk, and not to beat a dead horse, but like I mentioned Zephram Cochrane, and a lot of people got, you know, jumped on that. And like, he's not Zephram Cochrane, people. He's not even close to that. He's just a guy with a lot of money who farms out a lot of ideas. He's not.
He's an investor.
He's an investor.
He's
He
a
never
litigious,
invented
aggressive
anything.
investor. He's not an inventor. He has one patent to his name. One. Most amateur inventors have many, many patents. And he has one, and that's only fairly recent. He's an investor. He buys
Stuff. Yeah,
he's a bully in
capitalizes
business.
on it.
Yeah, that's all he is. He's not a scientist. He's just not.
He's far from a scientist.
He pays scientists.
Right.
He has some vision.
And then he berates them.
Yeah, right. And then he sues the shit out of people. He sues the shit out of everyone, that guy.
I love this.
The original guy who
E equals MDMA. Do you want to know what I heard? I'm totally changing the channel here. But earlier today, you know, because we're big Superstar fans, I was listening to a lot of Von Elliman, because Paul was playing Magic by Olivia Newton-John, which I was like, God, did the Bee Gees write that song? Because it's so Bee Gees-ish. Remember that great song by Olivia Newton-John? It turns out, no. But then I started watching a bunch of Von Elliman, and it turns out a couple of years ago, she was arrested at an airport. Are you ready for this? For carrying methamphetamine. Olivia
Newton-John?
No, Yvonne Elliman.
Oh, Von Elliman. Well, she's gone beyond her. Newton-John died, didn't she?
She died
3
but
years
ago. You know, because you know, Mary, you of course know her very well, because that's how we were introduced. But my friend Mary, one of my oldest friends, she's a terrific singer, and she's a very opinionated chick, and she loves Kate Bush. She loves all the same music we love. Like, I think she walked up to you guys and you were playing King Crimson. She knew exactly what it was. And I'm not a King Crimson guy, so I don't know. That Makudasai, whatever the fucking name of that song is.
Mate Kudasai? Did we ever play that?
You did.
Oh.
And she was like, I can't believe you guys played Mateo Kudasai. And you were like, I remember Emmett looked at her, he was like, who are you? Like, anyway, but she said today when I was talking, or the other day when I was talking, she does not like Olivia Newton-John as a singer. And I'm like, I don't understand. She's a great singer. She's so in key, and she's quiet and powerful. And she just didn't, like, that's the thing about Olivia. If you watch that girl sing, she's so quiet and sweet and beautiful. But man, she's also got crazy power with that quietness, which is not something that.
By the way, did you see Amanda what's her name? The
Amanda Siegfried or
Siegfried?
Siegfried.
Did you see her singing Joni Mitchell?
No. You want to pull it up?
I can pull this up because it's just a clip from.
Sure, pull it up.
From let me see, Jimmy Kimmel.
Can she sing?
Not Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy, what's the other one?
Fallon.
Fallon, the shit one.
The shit one is right.
He's not a good interviewer.
No, he's like, oh my God, I'm such a fan. Oh my God, I love you. You're my favorite thing.
He the table and laughs and giggles. Like
he's a puppy dog who fawns.
He's awful. He's just doesn't command the room in any way. He's awful. I don't know why he ever got that job. He's a very talented impersonator and stuff like that.
JC Kingsley, I just want to say, where the fuck have you been, my
Seyfried.
Seyfried. Where have you been? I haven't seen you. You're such a major basher, and I haven't seen you on the show in ages. Where have you been?
I can share this, I think.
God, share it. What are we going to do? They're just going to bust us for whatever.
She sang Joni. She did California.
Oh, California.
California. First of all, she's a complete and utter.
She's playing auto.
I would marry this girl in a split second. Mind you, most people would. Let me see if you can. Tell me if you can't hear it.
I can hear it.
That's from the Blue Album. And I'm going to play it for you, but guess what? I'm nervous.
Don't never be
Just
Are you
giggle.
ready? Ready?
Yep.
Sitting in a park in Paris, France, reading the news and it sure looks bad. They won't give peace a chance. It was just a dream some of us had. Still a lot of lands to see, but I wouldn't want to stay here. It's too old and cold and settled in its ways here. California, California, I'm coming home. I'm gonna see the folks I dig. I'll even kiss a sunset pig. California, I'm coming home.
Wow.
What are you talking about?
Amazing,
That's
right?
mental.
Isn't that mental?
That was mental.
Yeah, like as a
That
singer,
was
you could.
mental.
As a singer,
Who
you should go
sings that?
back.
It sounds like Joni Mitchell.
Who sounds like Joan? First of all, who can sing Joni?
No one.
No one can sing.
Not
Joni
even
like
Judy
that.
Collins sounds like
Right.
Joni Mitchell.
Right. And as a singer, you should go back through that and listen to all her fucking
What is that?
perfect
It's
intonation
perfect.
that's all going all
That
over the place.
Joni-isms, man, they're impossible. Nobody can do those. Nobody can pull that off. No one can do Joni like that.
I know.
That
I was just so
crazy.
shocked.
The intervals are insane.
I was.
Oh,
it's
God, she
blowing
is-
up.
Now, this
social
wasn't the
media
chick that
right
had
now.
the
Everybody's-
problem with drugs and shit, was it? One of those Amandas had a problem with,
No.
like, one of them did. One of the Amandas. You guys know, you bashers, you know.
What an
Wow,
insane
first of all,
talent.
she's a ride and a half.
I mean, that's a perfect woman right there.
That's
Look at
just
that.
Jesus. And
Let's
she's
listen
playing
to
the
those-
dulcimer.
She's playing a dulcimer.
The folks I dig, I'll even kiss a sunset pig. California, I'm coming home.
Let me go back to the other notes.
Yeah.
Still a lot of lands to see, but I wouldn't want to stay here. It's too old and cold and settled in its ways here.
Beautiful, right? I don't want to play too much of it. just in
No,
case.
we're already dead anyway.
We already did it.
They
so-
totally nicked us.
And she hits all those fucking notes.
Not only that, but just the interval, the way she's able to just free flow through that.
Yes,
which is
yes,
a Joniism that it, no
Joni
one.
timing for Joni is weird. Like, yeah,
It's weird as fuck.
you
and
showed it
no
off
one's
on
done it.
the Mingus record. You listen to the
Yeah.
Mingus record, she's like, you realize she's actually really a jazz singer.
She's
just masquerading as a
she's a
folk-
jazz singer. Oh,
folk
yeah.
singer. Yeah.
Oh no, she's a jazz singer, and she knows it. She knows it. Now, Mary, who I just spoke about a couple of minutes ago, tell me how you feel about this. Whatever. She hates the fact that Joni's out there touring and doing live shows because she considers Joni to be the greatest thing that ever was. And to see her diminished returns on whatever, I don't feel that way. I don't feel that way about McCartney. I don't feel that way about anybody who's not what they used to be, because you have to take into account her. She's had a bunch of strokes. She smoked 800 cigarettes a day, blah, blah, blah. She's still Joni Mitchell, and she's gonna still bring you that Joni thing, and I don't mind that. Like McCartney, he's not.
Wasn't it really bad though when they did that LA Fires show and she was trying to
It
do
wasn't great.
Both Sides Now, and it was like,
Yeah, it wasn't
it was
great.
melted.
I know, but
I mean,
you
at
know
least
what?
McCartney, it's almost you're getting inflections of the original.
So
thing.
close. He's so close.
He's really close.
He's so
It's
close.
just like
He's so close. He's just Paul's so close, but like he's such a
and
god.
Didn't they wheel her out on some throne or something?
Yeah,
Like she could
yeah,
barely
yeah.
move. It's
You know
like,
whose
stop.
fault this is all? Brandy Carlisle.
Why is that?
Because Brandy Carlisle and her are besties now.
Uh-huh.
Because Rufus Wainwright introduced them. And
Okay.
now she produced there's a new Joni Mitchell record coming out, produced by Brandy Carlisle. Brandy Carlisle is amazing.
Sure.
Sure. And her hero is Joni Mitchell. So she wants more Joni. But maybe, just maybe, we need less Joni.
Less of Joni.
Just maybe. I mean,
She's gone over the hill. It's
so not there anymore.
the
None of
best
that is
thing
there.
she wrote was Sex Kills. Sex Kills was amazing. That whole thing she did about California changing and stuff
Oh,
like that.
yeah.
That was beautiful, like modern Americana stuff. But
Yeah.
that was in like 2004 2004 or something like that. It was a while back. She's gone over the hill now. Now it's just an old, decrepit creature. So what's the question? Should people just keep going until they drop dead?
Like maybe with Paul, because like you just said, oh God, it's so close. He just can't nail it. But there's still elements of great Paul in there.
Sure.
There's almost none of the great Joni shit.
No.
Because it was so magical and so unique and so different. So I don't know. Yeah. What is that noise?
That is a seagull going nuts.
That's one of your favorite people.
I don't know why they do that song every night. It's not even a song, it's a yelp.
Sharon says, poor Jody. Well, where's your guy? Is your guy still coming to the window anymore?
No, he hasn't been around in ages.
Oh.
The little blackbird.
He had a little friend for a while for the Bashers out there. He had this blackbird kept coming to his window and he would start feeding him, and like they had a routine for a while. Hopefully he went or she went
apartment sometimes, and he'd have fun on the floors because he would skid.
Oh.
He'd jump up and he would skid on the floors and get a lot of fun out of it because they're all shiny floors.
Yeah.
The fucking seagulls are just gross. That's the equivalent of USA. That's what that is.
They are beautiful creatures. They're just mean as fuck. They're beautiful though. You hate them, I know, but they're your nemesis.
It's hard to find them beautiful. I loved what Pixar, Disney did with them. Mine. That describes seagulls perfectly.
Rufus says it best. I get it, but know when to say when. I think that there's Neil Diamond, when he was out on the road, Neil's still sounded great, but he got Parkinson's and he knew, shit, I'm not going to be able to do this anymore. Yeah. And he was in the middle of a tour and he just bowed out and said, what I owe you, I can't give you.
Yeah, well, there comes a time like it's a tough thing. There's no school out there that can teach stars when to hang up their hat. Like, is there anyone out there who advises? Because certainly when you're a new star, there are advisors saying, this is what you do with criticism in the tabloids. This is what you do with your money. You invest, you do that. There's plenty of people to advise the young, rich, and famous. But there's no one advising the mega big stars saying, you know what, Bono, you can't reach those notes anymore. It's time to hang up your hat. This is the dignified thing to do. There's no one telling.
Do you think it's happened to him yet?
I think it's already happened to Bono, yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
See, I don't.
He can't reach it. He can't.
Is he
reach it anymore?
What's he not doing? Oh shit! Like the Vegas shit.
Bono's in love with a drawing of himself. Bono's like romanticizes his own persona that he has built. He speaks about himself almost in the third person at this point.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah, it's like he's become a caricature now. It's not. I think he needs to stop. He's a good writer. He should just write books.
So do you think he sounds bad when he sings live now?
Well, it's been limited. It's been reduced down, hasn't it? There was a certain range.
I don't know if I noticed
closes.
Well, there's an abandon, and I always say that about singers because I am one. There's a certain abandon that, when you're young and fresh and you've got all the tools in the tool, but you just belt it all out and you're like, oh.
When you're older, Stevie Nicks is another one.
Well, she's
darling.
Stop
it. You're burned. You
want your friend.
But now it's
so
all super
compressed.
Lazy.
She can't do it. Rihanna, she claimed she never wants to sing that ever again because she said it wreaks havoc. I'm like, honey pie, that ain't the vocal cords. That's all the blow.
There's a good example from Brad. Mick Jagger. He can still do the shit and the band can still do it. Like, that's the crazy thing about the Stones. I would have said 20 years ago, hang up your hats, but they can still do it.
He still looks like a crypt keeper.
The Stones.
But he's still going, stop me up! Woo! Because it's never been taxing for him vocally. He doesn't do anything he's just a big peacock, a big rooster going, woo! It's never been anything.
What is he,
and
90?
He's still, I mean,
he's supposed to be 90.
He's how old is Mick Jagger? Anybody know?
He's
80.
86.
He's got oh shit. Let me find out. Fuck me. No, I think he's younger than McCartney, isn't he?
Is he? I don't know.
Mick Jagger is 81. Okay. Yeah, he's
81.
younger.
I was pushing it too hard. Sorry.
No, but I feel you. I feel you there. Paul McCartney's 83. I mean, listen, here's the other problem with Paul.
I could hear it in McCartney when he did that Saturday Night Live.
I mean, and the Holy Grail of McCartney. He did the Holy Grail of McCartney.
Yeah,
he did the Golden Slumbers medley. Jesus Christ!
Once he started that piano, I was like, "Oh my god!
Oh god!" Because it's the greatest
really
thing ever.
happening.
Yeah, I know.
You can see the audience all going, "Oh my god!
Oh my god!" And listen, his band is fucking amazing, man. That drummer was holding down so much of the notes.
He's been doing that for 25 years, that drummer. He's been playing that gig.
Fucking...
Once you get the gig with McCartney, that's the end. You've reached the end of the rainbow.
That's the end of the
You don't need another gig.
No, but Paul is notoriously frugal. He, his kids grew up in a normal house and he's, almost a billionaire. He does not spend frivolously. And even in his group, very rarely will you see, like, luckily enough for us, he had a string section, etc. But when he performs live, I saw him at Giant Stadium a couple of years back, and the keyboard player is doing like, the She's Leaving Home string section. I'm like, come on, Paul, just get a quartet on the road. Come on. He doesn't want to pay people because he thinks it's frivolous. He doesn't want to do it. Paul's funny that way, but he's 83 years old. But Golden Slumbers, I mean, is that not the Grail? It is, right? It is.
Yeah, they did Carry Your Way. They did the whole melody.
They did the whole side too.
Yeah,
they did the whole thing. Golden Slumbers, and the best part of that thing is that You Never Give Me Your Money is the dun 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 dun. That's got a big part in the medley itself. It's one of the great. And Paul McCartney is a very, very difficult person to try to sing because it is really super tenory for a rock guy. It's really hard. Travis says, I watched the Stone perform live in 2005. Thinking it would be my last years of the Stones. Little did I know. Yeah, no, man, those guys keep going. What's that guy's name? Al. I need to know who he is. His name is Al, right? McCartney drummer. McCartney drummer is Abe Labriel Jr. Yeah, that guy's amazing. Mick Jagger, Just Another Rainy Night. I love Just Another Night. I love that song. Maka was very good. No, Maka was fucking great up until, I'll tell you when I saw it happen. The last anniversary show for SNL. I guess it was 40. He performed on that and he did something. I saw he had Friend of a Farmer lozenge, which is every singer's best friend. Makes your tongue turn like black. And I was like, oh, he must be having a bad sore throat. And he didn't sound good. But that was very unusual for Paul. And so Paul sounded great up until about 8-10 years ago. He really sounded great.
He did. It's
He sounded great.
Things, it's not linear. You have these moments where things fall off, So
then there are guys where it can come back. I just saw Steven Tyler. I'm like, listen, Aerosmith is not my thing, but everybody respects Steven Tyler. It's amazing fucking what that guy does. It's crazy what he does. He lost. He fractured. He's pushing 80, and he had an embolism, vocal cord embolism. So they said, okay, Aerosmith is done. He's never going to perform again. Then like Nuno Bettencourt and him got together, and you know what? He sounded okay, as long as he didn't go too crazy. And I'm thinking, you know what? Oh, I don't either, because Aerosmith is not my thing. But that you can't deny that guy was great at what he did. It's not my thing. Sure. At all.
Sure.
I think I own one Aerosmith record, but that guy, he had, I mean, you have to like Dream On. That's a great song.
Sure.
I mean, I don't love Loving an Elevator and all that shit. I don't give a fuck. That's not my scene at all.
That's how you torture me in Guantanamo Bay. You play that stuff. You play Aerosmith all day long. I'll give you the nuclear codes. I'll give you everything.
I'll give up
Osama bin Laden.
Bala is correcting me. He sounded great until he was in his mid-70s, not the mid-70s decade. 100%. Yeah, he sounded great. Panel Power says Sir John Leslie The porn star told me about fucking a Paul McCartney's secret wedding at his castle in Monaghan. Is there another Sir John Leslie other than the very famous legendary porn star? I don't know. I'm Irish. I don't know. Metallica, seen them 4 times this year. I feel like maybe for the last time, but they only do a few shows per year. Metallica is that kind of band that could, let me just say top dog, and I'm not trying to upset the apple cart. I have zero interest in that band at all because they don't have anything in them for me. There's nothing in it I enjoy. But I respect them, and I really, really like James Hetfield because I think he's a cool dude. Lars, you know what? Everybody should be thanking him for being the clairvoyant that he was when he told everybody we need to be careful about this file sharing shit. We're all fucked. No one's going to make any more money from record sales. Guess what? At the end of the day, he was completely right. And
it was fruitless, though. It was a waste of time.
It was a total waste of time. So Metallica are the type of band they can go out and they can play like a summer show and do 10 of the biggest stadiums ever built in the entire world and then go home. And they're done. Because they're just so enormous. That tour they did last year,
well,
I've never seen a stage
did
like that.
They did an interesting thing. They were heavy metal.
Yeah,
you know, almost
they were
metal.
Speed metal. They were speed metal. They invented it, pretty much.
And they, Whiplash and all that stuff, right?
Sure. Oh, look at you. I'm so impressed by your Kill 'Em All knowledge.
I come from that whole world. But they were able to popularize their metal.
Right.
So there are, Californian girls out there who listen to regular pop music and rock and roll who can sing along with anything from Master of Puppets or whatever. They can sing along with Nothing Else Matters.
Sure.
They popularized their metal somehow.
They turned a very, very underground music scene and made
into
it pop.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
And did anybody think that could happen?
That's why they play to 80, 90,000 people for 3 hours.
Yeah.
At a concert. And not many bands did that in that metal world,
No, actually, no one did. The only other metal band that even comes close is Maiden, and they're nowhere near as big as that.
No, they're not. Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah.
As whatever you might think of them. And they came before Metallica, of course, but still, Metallica caught the zeitgeist. They rode the lightning. And I don't really care about that, but James has got that, say a prayer, turn the light. He's got a very unique sound. How many guys out there, like we were just talking about Joni Mitchell for half an hour about no one sounds like that. No one sounds like Ozzy Osbourne, and no one has sounded like that since.
Ever.
No one sounds like James Hetfield. They don't. There are some people who are so incredibly blessed to have something that is uniquely their own.
Ozzy was,
Ozzy,
there hasn't been another one.
No.
Ozzy.
And you could be like the Ian Gillans and the Dios and the Jeff Tates and all the big metal guys, the Dickinsons. There's a million guys, clones. I'm one of them that came after those guys that copied all the shit and was able to cop a lot of that stuff. Nobody has ever sounded like Ozzy. Never. Yeah. We've got one. We've never had a single person in the world who sounded like Joni Mitchell until that clip I just saw. Never heard anybody do that.
By the way, this is a hard left turn. There's new info coming out about Gene Hackman. Have you heard it?
We just watched it in the beginning of the show.
Oh, you did? Sorry, I'm late to the show.
No. You were busy editing. Apparently, she died from hantavirus, and then he died from heart disease.
Heart, yeah, and I put it down as heartache.
I think you're right. But did he not want to pick up the phone and call somebody? She was dead 6 days, apparently, they're saying now, before he died.
He became very reclusive. What happened to the dog?
In the closet.
One of the canines was dead.
Why?
The other two are still alive. Why? It's very curious to me, but he did step away from the world though in the past 2 decades.
He's 95 years old. Listen,
and the latest photos of him in recent years don't even look like him.
I saw it when he was at the cane walking in front of the cafe. I was like, that's not Gene Hackman, because Gene Hackman was a big, robust man.
Some
Holy
people, when they
mackerel.
lose the love of their life,
Oh yeah.
which, by the way, people don't talk about this, but he was 90 something and she was 60 something. That's a 30-year difference.
It is.
Leonardo DiCaprio gets shit for that right now.
Well, because he married her when she was 40 and he was, 70.
It's different. Yeah. When you're up there, you're
both
there, right?
old.
You're both old. Yeah. None of the
Nobody
shit
cares.
works anymore. So no one cares. Yeah.
Nobody cares anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's true. Brad Crozier. I don't know this name. Brad Crozier. How are you? Don't forget Roger Waters. Well, sure. We're big fans. The two of us are giant Roger guys.
Yeah.
Roger's been lip syncing for the last couple of tours, which is very sad to me. But I guess that's entertainment.
I think what happens with Roger is he lip syncs certain moments that they need, the high bits.
Yeah.
And then he sings the rest. So
he doesn't lip sync. Mother, do you think they'll drop the bomb?
Yeah, because he's just gone, Mother. That's easy.
But he has to,
Did you see fucking my friend Jeff? What's his name? Or shit, what's his fucking name from Bad Hasbro? Had Roger Waters on a few weeks ago.
He had Roger Waters on his show.
Yeah, on his show on Bad Hasbro.
That must have been unreal.
Yeah.
You know what? You could probably have Roger Waters on your show.
I know. I was tempted to ask him, like, where's the contact?
The world does not need that.
I need the contact. I need the contact email.
Imagine if you had, first of all, there's nothing you don't know about that man's career.
Matt Lieb, sorry. Matt, not Jeff.
You could have because not only could you have him on your show and talk about all of the political mumbo jumbo, but you would also be able to blow so much smoke up his ass and make him feel comfortable.
I would have to have him on for the political mumbo jumbo.
Yeah, but I think you should start off
you
by
can
talking
imagine
about
the long line of people waiting to talk to him about fucking whatever Floyd shit that he just.
I don't think anybody wants to talk to him about that now.
Oh, everybody still does because Floyd is still. I mean, just.
I think that they've all divorced themselves from him and talked to Dave about the band, and they talked to him about Palestine.
Well, I wouldn't have him on for that. I'd have him on to talk about the other stuff and maybe breeze off the Floyd a tiny bit.
Here's a question for you.
It'd be like getting Geddy Lee on, right, from Rush. There's no way I'd get him on to talk about bass and Rush. I'd get him on to talk about his old vintage Tag Heuer his Heuer collection. Because then he'd be interested and we could talk about his watch collection. He never gets to talk about that. So I could get him on and hide in every way possible the fact that I think he's the greatest bass player, one of the greatest ever to walk the earth. You know what I mean? But he doesn't want to talk to a fucking Rush fanboy. You know what I mean? How many people are ahead of me in line for that? Forget about it.
Everybody.
Top
dog. Michelle wants to know what editing program do you use. Well, I don't use editing programs because I do live shows. But Oisin, go.
Final Cut Pro.
Yeah.
I'm a Final Cut Pro guy. I know it's lame. Everybody's using DaVinci Resolve.
I have a DaVinci. I've only done a couple of little stupid videos, but I use Final Cut for everything. I don't particularly care for DaVinci Resolve, and I have it. I think it's not intuitive. I don't love it.
They say that if you get into it, you realize it's the best, but it's the best at our level. I think people are still using.
Yeah, I think so.
What's the other one? The DigiDesign one, or Avid?
Yeah, well, that's another giant one.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I owe you that little cowbell. Some interesting comments in the chat. Let's see what they are. My brother, Bala says, my brother saw Roger Daltrey a few years ago at a resort. And he said he was working out and he's ripped. Roger Daltrey's always been ripped, though.
Yeah, we toured with them.
Yeah. And he probably looked like a god, right?
No, we didn't tour with them. We did 2 or 3 shows. 2.
You did 6 shows. You did a leg with them.
No, we did 3 shows with them.
That's it?
Very few.
Really?
Maybe I'm not. I don't think we did more than 3 or 4 shows with them. We did the Borgata in Atlantic City.
Oh, wow.
And did we do Vegas with them? I can't remember. You'd have to ask Emmett. He's the man who will remember.
He's the guy who would know.
But yeah, I mean, Daltrey, yeah, he's fucking great. And Townsend was a god. He was just a god. I sat on it or near his amp when he was playing. I was like, this is crazy.
I can't even imagine what that's like.
This is crazy. It was a AC30 Vox.
Of course it was.
Yeah. I was like,
JC Kingsley.
Christ.
I think both the panelists here are going to disagree with you. I wish I had seen Sting back in the mid to late 90s. His voice is holding up decently, but nothing near 10 Summoners Tiller Mercury. I think he sounds the same to me. I think Sting is one of the guys whose voice has held up the best.
I went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 25th anniversary show about 10 or 15 years ago in Madison Square Garden. And I was invited by somebody in the industry, and I got like really close up to the stage kind of tickets, and we were backstage as well. And everyone was there. Aretha and U2 and the Stones, everyone. And the best singer of the night was Sting.
Yeah, he's crazy.
Sting was the best singer out of everyone that was on the stage. Springsteen, everyone. Aretha was amazing, but like Sting sounded like Sting when he was 20. He sounded the same.
I'm amazed by him. I just saw him recently on some YouTube thing because we're big police freaks. Yeah. And I'm like, how the fuck? And I'm like, did they tune down? No shit, they didn't. Holy crap. Yeah, he's just got this crazy tenor. He's really up there, man. And like you watch his technique, and like it's effortless, that guy. It must be the tantric sex.
Yeah, it's all the yoga and the tantric sex.
Yeah. Sharon says Golden Slumbers. I cry. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm a giant Beatles fan. I listen to the Beatles every single day. When I have my coffee, I'll just randomly go to the Beatles because they make me happy. Yeah, every day. I listen to the Beatles every single day. And it doesn't matter what phase it is. Because, sometimes I'll hear, you got to admit it's getting better, or Paul McCartney just recently said his favorite bass line. Oh, this is a great one for a bass player. Because especially a guy that knows his career upside down. Can you guess Paul McCartney's favorite bass line that he ever recorded? I was shocked.
Well, the best bass line he ever wrote was Michelle.
That's beautiful.
If you listen to the bass line of Michelle, it's kind of insanely genius.
Sure.
Maybe Paperback Writer or...
They're all going to be great choices. They're all going to be like, sure, why not?
Because you have that when the world heard him go and then into the line. And
greatest rock bass player of all time, Paul McCartney. Definitely, right? Yeah.
For different reasons than all the other greats.
Sure.
So what's his favorite? What's his favorite line?
Fixing a hole.
Oh shit. Okay.
I mean, then I listened to it and I went, because
he knows his own stuff so well.
And I was like, maybe because it's the opposite of what you normally think of for a McCartney bass line. There's very little walking in it. There's just like, all those little intros he does. It's just very different. And I was like, oh, I get it. I get why maybe it was a challenge for him, but what a strange thing from Sgt. Pepper. Crazy. Anyway. I mean, I was shocked too. I was like, what is a big McCartney bass player, a bass player who loves Paul McCartney, going to think of that? But if you listen to it, you go, yeah, I could see why he said that.
Okay.
Very interesting. I mean, for me, like everybody thinks it's going to be Come Together, right? Because it's so famous.
Right.
Yeah. Everybody thinks it's going to be that, and it's not. Bala says that, yeah, sure, of course it's a great tune. That was the tune that put them in the stadiums for the rest of their lives.
You're going back like 20 minutes in the chat.
Am I 20 minutes back?
Keep up to speed with the chat, because Otherwise, it breaks the conversation in half. Ray, I said this before. I will never look at a leather armchair the same way after seeing Grace Jones live in Brighton, UK. I saw Grace Jones 6-7 years ago in Dublin.
Sure.
And it was great.
I saw her at Danceteria, and I saw her at Webster Hall, and I saw her at Studio 54, which was crazy. She's a fucking genius, man.
Yeah.
Genius. It was just her.
She didn't do my favorite, which is Strange. I've seen that face before.
Oh, yeah, of course. Well,
she didn't do that. And
she's not going to do what you want.
She did La Vie en Rose, though.
Of course, she has to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, she has to do that, right?
Yeah. And move up to the bumper.
Oh, that's Paul's favorite song ever.
It's just so great.
Yeah. Joe LaFaro's like, Michelle. Yeah, it's crazy shit. It's
Michelle, yeah.
I mean, if you listen to those Beatle records and they're just, oh my God, you can't believe it's playing on that. Taxman, it's one of the sickest bass lines ever. Boo, 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 boo. It's amazing. Not even his song. Yeah. It's George's. Hey, I've got a great bass line for you too.
George?
Yes, Taxman is George.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it opens up Revolver. I mean,
no, that was George. That sounds very Paul to me.
Yeah, it's George.
I guess George was somewhere between Paul and John.
Totally. But that was the record where they were like, oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll open the record with that. What do you think? I don't know. Yeah. I remember when I was in high school, and this is like, a million years ago. And I got into band as a drummer. I'm not a good drummer, but that was the only position available and I could fake it. So I got in there and we did a breakdown on Taxman. And I was a Beatles fanatic already. And I was like, why are we talking about the drums when it's all about the bass line on this song? I already said that because that bass line, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Incredible shit. Yeah, Taxman. George had some great nuggets before something, and listen, that guy he was the youngest Beatle, and he was overshadowed by these incredible players that were so good, and he probably just took him a while to come out of his shell, but he would have been the greatest songwriter in the world if he wasn't in that band.
That's right. He certainly would have been the greatest songwriter in whatever other band he was in.
For sure.
He just happened to be in that band with those guys.
He was in a band with those two assholes. And what a fucking mistake that was. But
but that always happens. Like Christine McVie was in Fleetwood Mac. Great songwriter, great singer, but she happened to be in that band with the other pair. That's just bad luck, baby.
And what's really beautiful about that thing is, and this is like, I've got some inside skinny because of T-Boy and Lindsay and Stevie, but he says that he's never seen a greater friendship between Stevie Nicks and Christine McVie. He's never seen two band members who were more aligned and friends than those two ladies.
And she was British.
Yeah, she's British. Yeah, her real name was Christine Perfect.
I didn't know that.
That's her real name. She was born Christine Perfect.
She's British as they come, and she was in this like
super British,
very American.
But they were a British band, though.
What do you mean they were a British band?
Fleetwood Mac is a British band. They're not an American band. That's where, like, Peter Green came from. It was Mick Fleetwood, Peter Green, John McVie. They were a British blues band in the 60s. That
they just took in Buckingham, and
they were working, like, they made a bunch of records. Peter Green, that famous Les Paul that Kirk Hammett now owns from Metallica, that Gary Moore owned for 100 years. It's called the Greenie Moore because it was Peter Green's, and then it was Gary Moore's. So that guitar, which Kirk Hammett from Metallica bought for like $3 million because it's out of phase. It's a very unique instrument. So Peter Green had just left Fleetwood Mac. So they had no guitar player. They were a British blues band. Like with John Mayall's Blues Breakers and all the other, the Yardbirds, that shit. And so they moved to LA to work with a producer, and the producer said, "There's no hits here. You're never gonna capture the zeitgeist." So I believe it was their producer who saw Buckingham Nicks, who had put out a record, and he said, this guitar player is the guy for you. And so they approached him, and he goes, it sounds interesting to me, but I'm not going anywhere without my girlfriend. So they said, okay, we'll take you both in the band. And then they made the Fleetwood Mac record, which had
Jesus Christ.
That's how that happened.
Oh my God.
They were a pack of Brits making blues music, and then they met those two Americans from California. They're not really.
There's such a California sound.
Oh, it is. Yeah. Well, the Eagles. Who's from California from the Eagles? Anybody? No,
but they're a California sound.
Yeah, it's Don Henley's from Texas. Glenn Fry's from Detroit. Don Felder's from Florida. No one in that band's from California, but it was the California sound. Yeah.
New Kid in Town and all of that.
Oh my
stuff.
God.
So California.
If I could have written one song in my life, that's the one I wish I wrote, man. Fuck, that song is perfection, man. That song is absolute.
It's I love that idea. Like fly into San Diego and rent a car, open top and stick on the Eagles.
Oh, yeah.
And drive on the 101 all the way to San Francisco.
Yeah, I mean,
some
people capture it. They just they're able to capture the zeitgeist of the moment. Like in the 60s, it was the Mamas and the Papas and the Jefferson Airplane. And then as the 70s grew on, then in that late thing, the country sound. And they were all country guys that decided to go with a more rock aesthetic. And they fucking found that. And it became the California sound. Incredible. Amazing. And I mean, Don Henley's from fucking Texas. And an asshole. Yeah. Keith Olsen. That's the guy. Keith Olsen. He's the guy that found Buckingham Nicks. You, Mimi, of course, you know. She's a big Stevie fan. She's a big, listen, we're amateurs compared to her, man, because not only do we love the music as she does, but she worked with all of them.
Sure.
She was a publicist for everybody.
There's another artist that is it time to, like Stevie, is it time to stop?
She still sounds okay. She looks weird, but here I go again. It's not that hard to pull off. She's not like Montserrat Caballé. It's not that difficult for her to pull off, and she's sounding better now than I've heard in a while. I just saw her recent tour. She got Waddy Wachtel on guitar. She sounded good. She sounded okay. Lindsay, if you watch him, undiminished. The guy sounds incredible.
Oh yeah,
incredible. His playing, his singing is just remarkable. Those two.
He's always my favorite.
Oh well, sure, but my God. The way those two fucked each other's lives up to such a dramatic degree, that love-hate relationship. I mean, it's the story. I saw a Broadway show that won the Tony Award, and it wasn't a great Broadway show. It was called Stereophonic. It was okay. We went to see this show. It was all right. And it was basically a fictionalized version of what happened when they were making Rumors. And it's like, these people loved each other so much that all they wanted to do was ruin each other. Which is nuts, You
only hurt the ones you love.
You only hurt the ones you love. Panel Power's got a funny thing. And this is a famous thing. Stevie's nose got so blocked up, she had to have a guy blow it up her ass. I happen to know the guy who did it.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
I absolutely know the guy who did it. And he's dead too from coke. So
I know that story from a completely different source, and it's definitely true because the source is definitely reliable.
Yeah, a guy that I don't know if
he would sit in the studio. That was his job. He would just sit in the corner. Yep. She would every now and then pick herself up and go to the restroom, and he would follow her.
Yeah,
and do the honors.
That's true.
With a straw.
T-Boy used to tell me, "Oh shit, Stevie got the best blow I've ever had in my life." That's what he used to say. I'm like, dude, bro, what the fuck?
By the way, the same source told me about Kate Bush and her little addiction problem. That'll break your heart. That'll break your heart. So sorry. I'm so sorry.
Kate had a coke problem.
Yeah, in the early days.
Oh,
And she would hide it in the tape machine, in one of the coil stoppers in the tape machine. Yeah, and
like when? Like the kick
everyone.
inside or Lionheart? What?
The
when?
kick inside. The kick inside.
When she was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Out on the wily wintry moon.
Them heavy people, right?
Them heavy people. Oh shit. You ever hear like the?
Meanwhile, I've never done coke in my life.
Me neither. You.
We're the weirdest rockers in the world.
I watched lots of people do it.
Everyone I know. Yeah, I've watched.
Mimi and I had an experience
world.
when we were young. We had a friend that was her brother Steve, her beloved Steve, who is no longer with us, who was my childhood friend, that I abandoned him for his cooler older sister, Mimi, because she was in Buff State. When she came down, she was into Kate Bush and all this cool music and Renaissance. And I was like, oh, I'm going to hang out there because these guys are all getting baked on pot and shit. And I wasn't interested. So I used to go hang out with her. And we had a mutual friend that was friends with Steve, and he killed himself because he had cocaine, depression, and suicide. And this was 1,000 years ago, but Mimi and I will never forget that. And I was probably 14, you know? Yeah. So, like, you know.
Yeah, it's a big downer.
Yeah, I mean, I guarantee you that I would love cocaine. I would love it.
Well, everyone would. I mean, that's the whole point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone, you would probably love heroin too. That's the whole reason why people get messed up. Because it's great.
Yeah. Bala says that Tom Waits is a performer. There's no point in listening to a song. Go for the full live concert and listen to him to tell stories. Well, that's what he is. That's what you want from Tom Waits. You want him to destroy your soul by telling you that story and like be riveted and in tears.
Yeah, he's a comedian between songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's talking about I get asked a lot of questions in my career. One I get asked a lot is, can a woman get pregnant without conception or whatever? He tells the whole story about, well, we've got to go all the way back to the Civil War. There's a whole thing like on one of his live records. I loved. Were you ever a Tom Waits fan?
No.
Oh,
I have Bone Machine.
A Tom Waits fan.
Yeah, it just never hit me, but I get why you get it. I get it. I get why people get it. Mimi's always been like a fan of Leonard Cohen and Tom Waits, so she's like, listen. I've been exposed
the most
to
heartbreaking lyrics.
No, I know he does. I don't disagree. Yeah, just like on a visceral level, it's never like knocked me out, but I get it. Panel Power says that Kate still does. How do you know? She lives on an island in the middle of the Thames. Nobody knows what Kate's doing.
Nobody knows what she's
Nobody
doing.
knows.
She's definitely drinking wine.
For sure. And
right. She's enjoying probably the best red wine in the world.
Yeah, she's drinking Petrus. Top Dog, what are we wearing and drinking? I am wearing M7 by Yves Saint Laurent. I'm wearing a Speedmaster, and I am drinking a Sainte Marguerite 2008 Medoc.
Well, for once, I can actually say I'm actually wearing a fragrance as well, because I was out today and I wore Brioni.
Oh,
Brioni fragrance. I don't know which one it is. And I like it. It's so strange and odd, and I like it. I'm getting used to it. I'm wearing a 0S DB1 Dam Busters, and I'm drinking mostly water, but just having a little bit of Lagavulin 8 or 16. 8.
I'm chasing my wine with Diet Coke because the bottle is almost empty because Paul's here, so he's been sharing it. So usually I have a whole bottle. But I went out with James M on Wednesday night. I went to the TWA hotel.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I met James M, who's on your channel, my channel, everybody's channel.
Right.
And what an impressive, incredible guy. We drank Clerc. It was nice.
Clerc Mignon?
Yeah, oui, monsieur. Oh. And we had 2 bottles.
Where, at one of the bars there in the
at the Paris Cafe.
The terminal there?
in the
Or the
TWA
external?
hotel.
Okay.
Yeah, where I told you to go. Remember the beautiful
Yeah.
Aero Saarinen building? Yeah, we had dinner
Yeah.
there and drank a couple of bottles of wine, and 8+ inch wrist. That guy was so impressive, man. I tried on his Panerai. You want to see a picture of me wearing his Panerai? Let me go find
I
it.
would love to see that.
You know what? It's 44, and I was like, oh fuck me.
You're into Pam now. You're getting.
Well,
into
I've always
Pam?
been into them, but my problem with them is that they're too big.
There
There
are
it is.
42s. You can
This
get
is
a
a 44, and we swapped wide. He couldn't get my Milgauss around his hand,
Yeah, he's big boy.
but he wasn't though. Oh,
That is that an 8-day or 10-day?
that's a 10-day.
Yeah, that's a 44.
It's a 44.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I bumped into the Panerai guy here in Venice the other day. He caught me on the bridge near the Bridge of Sighs.
Oh shit.
And he's like, there he is. I was like, who's talking to me? And I was like, hey, man, I haven't seen you in ages. He's like, you've been all over the fucking world. Where were you? Because I guess he's following me on Instagram or whatever. And so we get talking. And he goes, dude, we just got in the new something or others, 618s or something. They're 47 mil. He's like, you've got to come by and try them. I'm like, don't get me tempted. Fuck it. Don't stop. He's like a drug pusher.
It's
It's
like
like
totally
meeting your drug
want that,
pusher
right?
in the street. Oh, of course I do. If you go on the Panerai website, you'll see them. They're fucking insane. Because I like a big 47,
47.
Well, yeah.
I mean, this guy. So James is very, very. First of all, watch Fashion Police Alert. This guy was wearing like the most beautiful ensemble. It was an exhibition in Pitti Uomo. This guy, he's around in between you, me, or around that environs age wise. Very handsome guy. I didn't obviously I'm not showing photos of him because he wants to create his anonymity, and that's fine.
Sure.
He was wearing a absolutely beautiful car coat, beautiful Gucci loafers. The guy was incredible.
Put a pin in that in a second. Joe LaFaro, Down by Law. My favorite line
Love
from Tom
Down by
Waits and
Law.
Down by Law. From the frying pan into the fire.
Yeah.
That's the best line in Down by Law. Great.
And
film.
Mimi took me to see Down by Law in the theater when it came out.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She also took me to see like With Nail and I and
The best thing about that's a jailbreak movie, and they don't show the jailbreak. They show them in jail and out.
And out,
and
right.
they don't show how they got out. It's the best thing. It's like they ignore the most important part, and it's totally cool. It makes you realize it's not important. Great film.
Great film. What do I do with the I don't have a picture of that. Yeah, it's a great movie.
Sorry, you were talking. You were
no,
saying,
I forgot. Doesn't matter.
No, he was all dapper.
Oh my god, he was impeccably dressed. Deep Sea, beautiful.
I thought he had a Panerai. Oh,
he had it in his pocket to show me.
Oh,
he had the Panerai in his pocket.
He was wearing the Deep Sea, the James Cameron, or the black,
the gold one.
Oh, the solid gold Deep Sea.
Yep.
Did you have a photo of that?
I might
Tell
have.
me you
on my
have a
phone.
photo of that. Tell me you got that. What's the for Die Hard?
I'm just afraid I have a photo of it with him in it. So hold on.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's the only person I've heard of who owns one of those, other than the guy from Shark Tank.
Which guy from Shark Tank?
The Slavovich guy, or whatever his name is. Vich is the end of his name.
Yeah, he's a Croatian dude.
The Croatian or whatever. Eastern Bloc dude.
I can't get the fucking Taxman video out of my head now. Dun, 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 dun.
He has the solid gold deep.
I'm pretty sure that's what that was. Maybe I'm wrong.
Shit.
No, it's a two-tone. Sorry. What is this? Oh, it's a Sea Dweller. I'm so wrong.
Oh, yeah, the SD43.
I had one of those.
Sorry.
I'll show it to you anyway. It's beautiful.
Very nice piece. Yeah.
I've had some wine. Forgive me, folks. This is him.
Yeah, it's the SD43.
Yeah,
I made a whole video on that.
Yeah.
I bought that about 6 months after it came out.
8.2-inch wrist. I went,
Great watch. I
holy
love that watch.
shit. I was like,
That's perfect for him. And
he
the palm is
couldn't
great.
even get my I gave him my Milgauss. I said, "Oh, try it on." And he goes like this. Couldn't get over his paws.
Yeah, he's a big fella, yeah.
But meanwhile, you look at him and he's slim and trim. He's just a big fella. You know?
Yeah.
It was impressive. And it was funny because so we go there and he goes, I said, "What do you like to drink?" He goes, "I like great French." I was like, "Me too." I said, "Do you like," he goes, I said, "You like good French or great French?" He goes, "I like great French." I was like, "Well, then this one." So we ordered the Million. And it
that
came,
has to be one of the better bottles on that menu.
oh, it's the best bottle on their menu.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah.
And so the kid came over. A kid was having a very hard time with the cork. I said, "Hey, give it to me. I'll take care of it."
No,
I
you
said,
did.
no problem. And he's like, no, I can't do that. I'll get in trouble. Let me go get our bartender. So he goes and gets the bartender. Jim and I are having a heavy conversation. We're talking. And this guy comes up and he grabs the bottle. And it's like, and I look up at him and I go, "Terrence?" And he looks at me and he goes, "It was the guy. I worked with that guy at the Friend of a Farmer."
Oh, no way.
He was like the head waiter at Friend of a Farmer. So we had like a 20-minute, like, oh my God, I loved this guy. It was terrific.
Small town, man.
It was such a
sometimes.
small town. I was like, what the fuck are you doing here? He's like, "Oh, I've been here for 2 years." I was like, "I've been out of there for 2 years almost." He's like, "Yeah,"
Wow.
like we all were like, "What the fuck happened?" I was like, "I got fired." He goes, "I didn't understand." He goes, "That guy's a dick." I said, "Well, they got rid of that guy." He goes, "Yeah, they did." And I said, "Well," yeah, I said, yeah, anyway, it was a long story, but I had a great night with James M. He's a spectacular guy. He had a beautiful coat. I didn't ask him what his coat was, but it looked like maybe Brunello Cucinelli. He was like super duper Italian, beautiful. This is a super stylish guys.
I went into Brunello there, I don't know,
That's
6 or 7 weeks ago.
Dangerous.
Very dangerous. What was I looking for? A scarf or something?
Guanti. The gloves are $1,000.
The cheapest scarf they had was $980.
Yeah,
it was €1,000.
Yeah,
and it was not remarkable. I mean, it was 100% cashmere, but it wasn't. I mean, the style of it, and I was like, I need something that pops more. And they were like, "Well,
Gucci.
We're Brunello. We don't do anything that pops. Everything
they don't.
Subtle."
You want a great
she
scarf?
Gave me the right answer. She did. She was like, "You're in the wrong store if you're looking for stuff that pops." And I was like, "You know what? You're fucking right, because everything about Brunello is subdued. Everything is subdued.
Yeah, it's classic.
Like, I'm in the wrong store for this. Okay, I'll
What do you want? Tell me what kind of scarf you're looking for."
No, in the end, I found one.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, a cashmere one. I was wearing it there recently on the channel.
I mean, at the end of the day, most people like to wear Burberry, which is fine. It's nice. But like, you know what though? If you get vintage Gucci, like vintage or Pucci, you want color, Pucci. That shit from the 70s, man. It's absolutely crazy. Let's go look.
I like if you're wearing like black or dark blue, which is really the only color in couture, right? That's the color, right? Deep navy blue that
and
appears
brown.
black in most colors, right?
Chocolate can be good too.
You want a scarf that pops, man. You want a scarf that pops. If you're gonna wear a scarf, you want one that pops. And I like strong burgundies, and I like reds. I like bright blues and stuff like that. You know.
Yeah. Well, listen. I mean, Cucinelli's not the company for that.
It's not the right place. I don't know why I went in. Honestly, I took photos in the store because I was just like, this store is just beautiful.
Oh yeah. What's a jumper starts at like 2,500.
Yeah.
Because it's always cotton and silk. Because they don't fuck around there. Or they do merino wool and silk.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just, that's not even on the radar for normal people clothes. That's Brunello Cucinelli. But it's not because he owns a valley and everyone in the valley works there.
That's right.
So this is handmade.
He's really good with his staff.
They love him. He's the mayor.
Everyone loves him. He takes care of them.
Yeah.
He doesn't make them work too hard. He doesn't.
No.
He gives them all bonuses.
Everybody
who works
life.
for Brunello is a happy person. Yeah. It's like getting the Paul McCartney gig. Sure, in the bad. That's
Paul's
your
probably
job for
way
the rest
more
of your
frugal
life.
with his stuff.
Probably.
Brunella, I watched a documentary on how he treats his people because he lives in that valley and everybody lives there. And they all go to work. They're happy to go to work. They have coffee and workouts and yoga and this and everything's paid for. They're so happy and they make the sickest shit on earth.
Yeah,
It's sick, man. Cucinelli is crazy, other level. It's not Fendi. It's not Gucci. It's not Prada. It's other. It's not the same. That's brand recognition, and it's the Rolling Stones, and that's
Next time we're over, we'll go to that store and check it out because it's
sure. Did we nick somebody's credit card? Because
it's on that Calle Larga right there. It's opposite the new Omega store, and it's the store. The store itself is fucking insane.
So show us your scarf. Do you have this available to show us?
This
new scarf? Yeah, I'd like to see it.
I wore it a couple of times on the channel.
Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Ray says €2 asking for a friend, aftershave on, was on a date, asking for, dude, just go out and buy yourself the following. Let me go get it for you. Okay, hold on. You're saying aftershave, not this is what I want you to get, baby. It's $14. Can't go wrong. Ready for this? Ray, this is the shit. You want to smell great? You want to feel like a man? You buy this. This is Prorazzo. And this is the Lezione dopo barba. This is beautiful. If you want to get an aftershave, you don't want to get into fragrance, but you want to smell like a man and you want to feel like a man and you want ladies to want you, Prorazzo, this is the shit. And it's amazing. It's like olio de eucalypto and it's minty, but bergamotti and limey, and it's beautiful. Ray, get that shit. You'll absolutely thank me tomorrow. Easily obtainable in Ireland too. Or just get it on Amazon.
This is Gallo.
Oh, Gallo, that's beautiful.
It's only 200. It's only $200.
Oh, let me see that. Look at that. You got like a burgundy and gold. Ooh, that's nice.
And I realized I was in the store with Lydia.
Oh.
And she goes, did you notice it's the Venice colors? And I was like, no, I didn't notice that. It's the colors of Venice.
You gravitated towards the
I gravitated because it's like a golden yellow.
Can you pull that? Can you take that off for a second so we can see how that's draping? Because I'm amazed by that.
It's half cashmere, half wool.
Oh, that's yes, sir. Look at that.
I like a pop of color for a
scarf. That's quite beautiful. And in a lot of ways, it looks extremely papal.
It's a little papal.
It's not exactly purple and gold, but it does have a little bit of that Vatican vibe to it, which is okay.
Which I don't mind.
That is gorgeous, man.
It's beautiful. And just the quality and the pop of color. If I want to push it more on the gold side, I can, or make it more reserved and keep it on the burgundy side.
Yeah. Panel Power says, gorgeous golf. Joe LaFar was looking at a Brunello Blaze the other day, was considering selling a watch. Yeah, because you have to. And you know what my big problem is?
Yeah.
And I'm going to admit this to the world. I've had some amazing suiting in my life. And I've had a very, very serious problem with moths. And you don't see the moths. They come in, they plant their eggs, and they ruin your suit. I lost 2 Tom Ford Gucci suits, and they were amazing. So I just got that amazing suit from Michaela and Eric de Chatillon. And what did I do? I put that in an air-sealed bag with a big chip of cedar in it because I'm petrified.
Dude, all my Canali stuff is in the bags that came with them.
Yeah, but you got to put cedar in that bag because they can get in there because they come in there as these little tiny things, nymphs. I had them in their Gucci bags and they were ruined.
You put cedar in there?
Cedar or lavender, and that will make the moths not want to go anywhere near it.
Okay.
Cedar closet is famous to keep moths out.
I don't have a moth problem, but yeah,
just to be fucking Daniel Katz, Canadian $2.79. Prorazzo, eh? Yeah, Prorazzo, man. If you want to just be a man and smell fresh, you take the Prorazzo, do this, like that, and you're fuckable because it smells like what a man smells like. It's not fragrance. It's aftershave. Don't bow about. That's all you want, baby.
Let me ask you something about fragrances. That famous Dunhill one that everybody buys, that's only $60.
Yeah.
Is it worth getting?
No, it's garbage.
No, it's
It's
complete
absolute
garbage.
fucking shite. It's clickbait, absolutely badly refined bullshit garbage.
I
not
heard
worthy of you.
it was like something everyone needs. It's not the
No,
greatest,
they
but it's
don't.
something everyone needs in their collection.
No,
like a Fender Telly. You know,
no, it's not that. You
No?
want the one that costs $30. Go buy 4711 because you're gonna smell like a man, walk out of the house and be like, I've got a hairy chest and I feel good. I'm a man. That other stuff, no, it's got a little bit of spice. It's gross, and it's just no. Stick to cigarette lighters, man. Dunhill, fuck you. No.
Look at that for a little color. Boom.
Looks great. It's a beautiful.
Come
beautiful thing.
on, Gallo, Gallo,
Gallo. Beautiful. It's absolutely
fine. $200.
Yeah,
not crazy money at all.
I mean, for a forever scarf, not at all. So you know who got me? The company Bruno Mali. They're most famous for their shoes because they were the shoes O.J. Simpson was wearing when he murdered his ex-wife. Okay. So I went over to Corey's house to fix his computer, and his wife, she was incredible. She gave us a little gift. She goes, "Open that." Yeah, Carol said, take it home. So we opened it up, and there were two beautiful Bruno Mali silk and wool scarves in there. And you know what? We wear them every day. I love them. Paul got the one with the red and the red and brown, and I took the one that was blue, black, and green. I really liked it. But yeah, a great scarf, that is exceptional. That's next level, whatever that is. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful scarf. I love a great scarf. First of all, if it's a little bit cool out, but you don't have to wear a coat and you're just wearing a suit jacket or a blazer, you wear a scarf with a pop of color, and you're at the opera.
Yeah, you're already there. Look at that. This is just art.
Yeah, it's just
a scarf is art.
All of a sudden you're in the Swiss Guard.
Now, how do you tie your scarves?
I do both. I do the
cheap rich guy, which is this.
That's what everybody does now.
That's what everybody.
I tend to not do that because it makes the scarf too short. It's too short, but it is the best for protection. It gives you the best coverage.
I know this is not the great tie.
It doesn't look
way better ways.
No. You can make that look really nice, and it is the best coverage. But I'm an old-fashioned guy, and I still do just the flip over. I do. Yeah. Okay, just make it a little bit shorter on your right side, right, and then just flip the left side over your right shoulder. Yeah, that's how I wear it. I just think it looks sexiest, and it looks more like, maybe I'm a poet or an artist. And you could make it tighter against your neck, but like the other thing is it makes it. I love wearing this thing. Yeah, it's beautiful. It is beautiful. Rufus says Harry Potter colors.
They are Harry Potter colors. I
don't know anything about Harry Potter.
No, these are Harry Potter colors, but I'm in Venice, goddammit. These are Venice colors, baby.
Thank you, Rufus. Let's give you a little bit of cowbell.
He's kind of right, though.
He is right. Ray says mothballs. I'm sorry. I love you, Ray, but you cannot get the smell of mothballs out of your clothes. It is the worst smell ever in the universe. I would rather plow through 1,000 type A hookers than go near mothballs. That smell is just, ugh. It's so gross.
I'm going to go through all my stuff and put cedar or lavender in there.
Cedar and lavender are the best ways to give them. Bala says,
love
that's
the smell of lavender anyway.
Or you can ask your dry cleaner. What's the gay way of wearing the scarf? Which way?
This is what Bala said.
Do you think that's the gay way?
I like it.
I don't know. I mean, that looks great. The other way, first of all, makes the scarf too short.
Yes,
so you want a little bit of flow. And you want it to look great on your coat as well.
Right.
You want it to go down the side of the edge of the inside of your coat, especially if you have the coat open a little bit. But if you're just wearing a suit jacket, that's the way to do it. Because the other way looks like you're ready for the ski slopes. And that's not always the best way to go. But Where did you get that? Did you get that at Fondaco?
No, I got it at the airport in Milan.
Oh shit!
There's a Gallo store at the airport. The Milan Linate has all the best shit now. It's not the Linate you remember, man.
I remember the Linate with 3 horses parked outside with feed bags.
It's like,
are you kidding? They have shops there.
It's fancy now. They have shops
in Linate.
Yeah, and I had bought a cashmere, a dark blue cashmere I've been wearing the past few days doing my talking head stuff for the Zero West stuff. And it's a beautiful scarf and it's very comfortable, but it's not an accent like this is. You know, if I wear this with the Canali or whatever, it's an accent. It pops. You know, and I had a lovely one that my ma actually sent me that I lost in my travels there last year in New York. I loved. That was from, I don't know where it was from, somewhere in Dublin that she bought it. And she sent it to me as a gift. I don't know where I lost it.
Did you leave it in the storage joint?
No, some hotel somewhere, probably. And it was lovely, and I loved the tone of red. It was just wool. It wasn't cashmere. It was just wool. You know, Irish, just wool.
Sure.
And lovely. And I fucking lost it, and I was so angry. And I went on the hunt for a nice scarf with some accent. And right now in moda, in the fashion world, strong scarf colors aren't a thing. Everything's subdued tones everywhere, not just Brunello, everywhere I went. And I was ready to spend some money. Actually, the cashmere blue one I bought in New York, down in that place in Battery Park. And it was a good deal. It was like it was on sale for half price or something, $150. And it was blue, like a deep blue. And I was like, don't you have anything like a fucking good, strong red? He's like, no, nobody's doing that right now. Everything's subdued right now. Don't you know? I was like, no, I don't know.
Don't you know?
There isn't. He's like, no, you're not going to find anything sharp right now. Everything's subdued right now in the world of fashion. I was like, oh, this is
that
so
happens.
sad.
The muted colors come in every
muted colors are
every 5 to 10 years. Like
right.
rust is in and gray is back.
Yeah, because
it just happens.
Yeah,
then,
there's
like,
Meryl Streep devil
like,
whereas Prada kind of characters dictate from up above what's happening. Well, they dictate what's, the temperature of the system.
Wait a second. This blue that you so callously mentioned is actually Celadon. Celadon was from the Tom Ford show in 2000. It revolutionized the world. So this blue you talk about so callously. It's amazing. Yeah. She should have won an Academy Award for that.
That's a great scene. So she is the most Oscar nominations of any person ever.
I'm sure she does.
Or as Ricky Gervais says, most losses.
Does he say that?
He goes, or as I say, most losses.
That's me. I gotta pee real quick. I'll be right back.
Oh man. Anyway, I'm going through Milano airport and I'm passing Gallo, and I like Gallo, and it's hard to find a Gallo. I don't think there's a Gallo store here in Venice. I was like, let me take a look in here, and boom, there I was. I was like, I'm taking it now, right now. And Liddy's with me, and when my daughter's with me, it's so funny because she's such a hybrid. She's sometimes she's such a basic Irish girl, and then the Italian fucking horns come out, and she's like, poof, and she goes into moda mode. Moda in Italy is a couture in French. She goes into that mode and she gets all her Italian eyes come out and she's like super critical about everything. It's fantastic. I brought her shopping with me a few times and she's like, no, that doesn't work. That color is no good for you. Change it. Don't you have a darker color? Don't you have a brighter color? She gets very Italian. It comes out like it's weird. My kid is weird hybrid. It's fantastic. Love it. Anyway. Vala. That's the gay way. Oh, yeah. Big classy. Robbinsburg, thank you. You know, the other scarf that I like wearing is the keffiyeh. A big fat keffiyeh here. It's really warm. But it is a political statement, so got to be careful. Not here in Venice, but... Is Gallo Italian? I believe it is. It certainly should be with that name. Gallo. Donald. Listen, it's moderately priced stuff. $200 is not much to pay for pure wool and cashmere. You know what I mean? Thinking about like paying the right money for proper Italian stuff will last you a lifetime. You know, I have a lot of Scarosso shoes now. I'm buying more. Scarosso, man. That's how you get like high level proper footwear for a third of the price of other stuff, you know. Go for the Italian brands that haven't made it yet. Because, you know, the Gucci's and the Ferragamos, they've all made it. They're famous. So now they can mark up their shit. You get a Ferragamo pair of loafers and it's $800. But you can get some, smaller brand that's Italian, that's probably made in the same place in Florence or designed by similar guys who studied in the Fashion Institute there in Florence, and they just haven't made it yet, so they can't charge $800. They have to charge $300, and you get amazing stuff, you know. It's a fucking crazy place for that stuff over here. It's just fantastic. Though I will say, the socks in Ireland, the quality, when you buy, I'm done buying Italian socks. For me, Italians don't know how to make socks properly. Not very well at all. The Irish, if you want something, you know, for winter or colder weather, buy Irish socks. And you don't even have to, you can go to Dunnes stores. $5, you have an amazing pair of fucking incredible wool socks that are just gorgeous and beautifully made. If you're going to buy socks, buy them in Ireland. That's what I think. I'm gathering my information as I go. And all the Irish handmade knitwear, the sweaters. I came back with a couple of sweaters from Dublin the last time. They're fucking works of art. Like if they were made by an Italian, they'd be $900, but you can get them for $80 or $100. And
Italian socks are kind of gay. They're like thin and like slippery, and
slippery.
They just
slide all over your fucking foot.
Yeah, they're kind of shitty.
Yeah, I came back. I just loaded up on socks. I said it to me, ma, one day. I was like, I'm going back over to those stores. I'm going to load up on socks to bring back here. Because I knew the cold weather was moving in and I want some decent, nice socks. No, I don't want shitty crap. And I want something, you know, that's going to be warm and comfortable and solid, but also beautifully made. The Irish socks are fucking... And the sweaters. Sweaters got me through the winter, man. The Irish sweaters. Beautiful.
Yeah, because they're made to keep you warm.
Yeah, I mean, but they're beautiful as well. Like, they have a character to them. You know, you put on a nice fragrance. You walk into a bar here with a fucking Irish sweater on. The girls are like, yeah, he looks like a fucking man. You know, good proper Irish sweaters are beautiful. They're very.
Oh yeah, they're rugged. They're rugged. They look like maybe you had today's catch, and now you're up for the fucking.
Yeah, but they're not like this. This idea that they're stingy and horrible and scratchy and itchy. There are the itchy ones, right?
Well, there's listen,
but
man, that's true.
That's the thing of the past. Like, you know,
that's 1950. Scratchy Irish shite. You know, like all the jumpers I had when I was a kid, they were all scratchy, but they were all, you know, bought locally in some Sligo store. They're bought at the equivalent of Dunn's back in the day, whatever
Right.
that was. I don't remember what it was, but we had these very itchy socks, itchy everything. Thank God my mother bought American underwear. She bought Hanes. And they were,
Hanes,
those were like, thank God for that, because I could only imagine the underpants from Ireland in the 60s and 70s were probably the worst.
Pretty bad. But now the level has come way up. You want a beautiful sweater in Dublin for $100. It'll last you a lifetime. It's magnificent, soft, wool and cashmere, fantastic work of art, amazing.
Yeah, well, they're also beautifully executed. I mean, for like plain old like V-necks and stuff like that, I'm a big fan of Façonnable, which is a French Nice brand, and I love that brand because they're silk and wool combos, and they're about $1.85, $200 for a jumper or a sweater, and they're lovely. They look great with a pair of jeans or a pair of slacks and casual shoes or slides, or they look great. Façonnable is a beautiful brand, and they're beautifully made too, and it's a commercial brand. I think it was French owned for 100 years, but I think or 70 years, but I think it's owned by a Dubai company now. But that's true.
Thanks, Panel Power.
There you go.
Sorry, don't want to get you in trouble.
Panel Power, I don't care. Panel Power says Boji socks suck and cost $20. Are they? I've never had Boji.
They're $30 a pair, and they do suck. I have 4 or 5 pairs. They're not good. Boji, it's not Boji, it's Boji.
Boji.
Yeah, they're not great. They're not great. Sometimes when I order the boots from Scarosso, I have 3 pairs now. I'll order socks with them. They're not bad. They're okay. But again, you're right. They have that thin, slivery shit going on. The Irish socks are... Ugh.
Yeah, Italian socks are just slippery, and they feel wet, which I hate.
You're so right.
They feel wet.
Also, you wear them once or twice, and then they don't have the life in them
You slip in your shoes. You're slipping around. It's so weird.
Yeah.
I never forget. I was in Bergdorf Goodman once, and I bought a pair of Gucci loafers, and I still have them because I've worn them so rarely. And I said, I need a great pair of socks to go with this. And I bought $100 pair of socks, and they were the worst socks I've ever had. And they were from Italy. And I remember I put them in, and the shoes fit me perfectly, but I felt like I was walking around with wet socks because they felt cold and slippery and odd. And I got rid of them immediately. I just threw them out.
I agree.
They're shitty. You want a great pair of socks. Or nowadays, with the way style is, you want to have a pair of slides on or a pair of loafers. You don't want to see the sock at all, so you get just those little peds, and those peds
you get little ones.
You just get them.
They stick to the back of your. They have rubber and they stick to the back of your heel.
You're done. And it doesn't really.
You buy
matter.
like the pair, sets of 10 or 20.
Yeah,
there are more comfortable, more substantial ones you can get. Yeah, I do the whole Italian thing while when it's hot weather here.
Sure, you have to.
It doesn't
you don't
look
want
like
to.
I have
You don't
socks
want to
on.
stock. No,
you want the heel. You want your heel, and you want that shit tanned. Especially as an Irish guy, you can see straight through our fucking skin. We're not even white. We're lesser than white.
Yeah,
we're fucking plastic. Whatever we are, we're just fucking paper. And you can see our fucking veins right through our.
It's gross.
So you got to tan the shit out of your feet, and then stick your feet in nice loafers with those. They cover what are they called? They just cover the bottom of the heel, the base of your foot.
They're peds.
Yeah.
You just buy they're like hosiery for men. They're just a little thing that goes over the very basic form of your foot.
It's to stop you from sticking to
That's all it is.
Your loafers and
you don't want to go sockless, fellas. Never do that.
Never, ever. You'll fuck your
shoes. You'll ruin the inside of your shoe too.
You'll never get that stink out.
Never. Oh my God.
Ever. It'll never come out.
Because your feet are
you'll
disgusting.
Destroy the shoe.
Destroy the shoe.
Yeah.
Never, ever, ever combine your raw foot with leather. Ever. It's the worst.
For 5 minutes, sure, but not for a day or half a day. You'll destroy it. Yeah.
No.
You need those things just to cover the bottom, the base, and then you need the ankle and the lower leg out, and it has to be fucking tanned as hell.
Tan,
Otherwise,
yeah.
the Italians will run a mile. They
Okay.
see that shit.
What is that?
The Irish
Aliens.
have a difficulty fitting in the
Right.
Italians. I don't too much because I'm a little Turkish looking and I tan. Thank God. But
Well, you've lived in Italy long enough. Other than
No.
that, you'd be the abominable snowman if you were still
no, but
in
I
Dublin.
tan. You know, a
Imagine
lot of
what you
Irish
would
people
look
don't
like if
tan.
you still lived in Dublin, like you never left. You'd look like, right. Here's a
If I
sheet.
never left Dublin, I would be 400 pounds. I would have a huge
From the
beer
chipper.
belly. I would just it's the Guinness and stuff like that.
Guinness
I put
and
on
the
a shirt
chipper.
the other day, and that I had on in Dublin that barely fit me, and it fits me fine now. I've just been in
Yeah.
it. It's in the cold weather,
Yeah.
but I still. It's just because you just get rid of all of that fucking heavy, horrible, Irish.
Imagine if you still lived in New York. Be 10 times worse than Ireland.
No,
From all the
I
shit
was
we
fine
have
in New
eaten
York.
here.
No, I was fine in New York.
You were
I
young
mean,
in New York.
yeah, I guess. I did load
You
up
were
on a lot
young.
of stuff in New York, though. while I
Yeah,
was
it's all
there.
carbs here. It's all. You'd be going to Petey Burger, right on your corner, right on you. Make a right, literally go to Petey Burger.
I did put on a few pounds over there because I was enjoying all the good
Diners.
stuff. I love the diner
American
stuff.
pancakes, cheeseburgers, and
But when you're
fries.
there for a long time, you lay off of that stuff. I was just doing it because I was
No,
there.
we don't.
New Yorkers are the slimmest Americans.
Maybe so.
Unless you're talking about like
Californians,
the
LA.
fit California, the fit Colorado. People are either in the gym and very fit or they're complete fat slobs. There's nowhere in between. The New Yorkers aren't going to the gym. They're just smoking cigarettes and drinking black coffee all day and walking up and down the subway. That's why they're all
a lot
skinny.
of stairs in New York.
Yeah, a lot of stairs. Yeah.
I had a fun experience the other night when I came home from the TWA hotel. Jim wanted to get me an Uber, and I was like, no, I'm a city rat. Don't worry about it. So I got on the train to the plane, the air train. It took like an hour. I got there in 20 minutes from my door to the TWA. It took me 20 minutes. It was half an hour. It was amazing.
So you took the E?
No, I took the 7 to 61st and Woodside.
Okay.
Got on the railroad, Long Island Railroad. Took it to Jamaica. Went right upstairs and got the air train. I was there. Boom, bang, boom. It was simple.
I would have walked to the E.
The
Which
E.
would take me to Stuffin Boulevard.
Oh, I'm not doing that.
Just down the street from the courthouse.
You know how long that takes?
That'd
be an extra 40
50
minutes. Yeah. I got there in between 20 minutes and a half an hour.
Okay.
Because it was rush hour, so I got the express. Boom.
Okay.
So, and then on the way home, I said, no, I'm good. And meanwhile, we're like 2 bottles of wine in. And I was like, I'm great. Have a great night. Great to meet you. You're amazing. Blah, blah, blah. I got on the train. I had to wait an hour for the air train to get out of the airport. I got the railroad right away, but it only stopped at Grand Central. Didn't stop at Woodside. So I took it into the city, which is fine. I'm only one stop away from Grand Central. But when I got to Grand Central, I got there. And
There's no 7.
Hold on a second. I'm going to show you what this was.
There's no 7.
No, it wasn't. It was worse than that. It was worse than that.
Don't they realize that messing with the 7 is messing with a lot of people? Like, that's the lifeline for Queens, man.
Okay, so here we go. This is
everybody watching who doesn't know the metropolitan area of New York, but it's like part of our lives.
Here's Dirk looking a little drunk, and it's the middle of the night, right? And it's 2:30 in the morning. Okay. So I get there, and you notice the fog there? Interesting, right? There I am drunk. And I took a picture of a John Deere because I thought it was cool. And then look at all the smoke. And then, oh wow, what's all this smoke about?
Oh,
then look at that. There was a fire on the tracks.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
So I go there. Look, I'm just covering up my face. And this was Jack the Ripper it took me about till 1:10 in the morning. I get to 1:10 at 2:30. I just decided I'm done. and I left. That's when I left. I just walked the fuck out of there because it was
Once you
just
get a
too.
cab?
I just jumped in the cab and I got the hell out of there
Yeah.
because I got home at almost 3 o'clock in the morning. I left Jim at midnight. I got home at 3 o'clock.
Oh shit.
And I had to get in a cab, which is not that bad, but I waited around for an hour because there was a fire on the tracks. But meanwhile, it only took me 20 minutes to get there, which was fine.
Yeah.
But how much fun you enjoyed the TWA hotel. And did you drink that wine too? Did you drink the
I didn't have Clerk. I had something. It was like $60-$70. I can't remember what it was. Clerk was probably $250 or something.
No, it was 180.
Okay. That's
was
not
180
bad for
a bottle.
Clerk.
I know.
Especially there.
Especially like in a
Were you
place.
all the way around the edge at that bar? That you
So
can sit?
like I almost felt like she thought we were on a date and we
Okay.
weren't.
Okay.
So she because when I walked into the TW hotel, he was up on the of course I didn't know what he looked like because he knows what I look like because he sees me every day.
Mm-hmm.
So he's walking on the underneath the volcano clock. And I said, I bet you that's him, beautifully dressed. I get up to the top of the stairs and he approaches me and I said, "You're Jim, right?" And he goes, "Ah." So I said, "You want to go outside and see the Connie?" He goes, "I walked around for an hour, so I've seen everything because I already got us a table." I was like, "Okay, great." She escorts us to the best table right in the apex where the big giant windows converge. So we were right in the center of that mid-century modern palatial majesty. And we sat down. It was the most perfect table. And we closed the place. Literally, by the time we were done, there was nobody left.
Okay.
It was great. We had a great time. Really great time. But
nice place.
yeah, if anybody's ever in New York City and you come in through Kennedy Airport, do yourself a favor and go to Terminal 5 and check out the TWA hotel. It's the last vestige of great American air travel of the 50s and 60s, and when it was a pleasure and not a chore. Right. And you would enjoy the international travel and feel a little bit luxurious. They have brought this beautiful mid-century modern building designed by Eero Saarinen back to its absolute pinnacle and created 2 wings of hotel rooms. And if you get a chance, stay there too, because it's very easy to get in and out of, other than if there's a track fire.
God.
But it was really great. Anyway, we should wrap it up because we've been on here 3 hours and 43 minutes.
Okay.
Anyway, thanks, guys, and thanks for tearing you away from your
don't worry.
Appreciate it.
I needed a break, honestly.
It's 800 o'clock in Venice, Italy, right now.
Yes,
So,
24.
thank you, gang, and thanks everybody. Let's thank all the super chatters. Let's start out the right way. Dean and Andrew and Nathaniel and Rufus. What were you on a date tonight? Where did you go, Nathaniel? You just ring and ran. Sharon, beautiful Sharon, Eddie, Rufus and Ray and Rufus and DG and Andrew and Joe, Super Joe, Handsome Joe, beautiful Donald. Thank you so much. Thank you for becoming such a great basher. Nathaniel Hannon again, Daniel Gutierrez again, Ray again. Top Dog, great to see you in the room. Michelle wants to know. Ray again, thank you all so much. Ray, Daniel Katz. What does that mean? Perazzo, eh? Go get some Perazzo, Daniel. You're gonna feel like a man. You're gonna get tons of pussy, bro. Rufus 199. Thank you so much, and thank you all to the incredible Patreon pantheon. You guys are amazing, and thanks, Sheen. Thanks for a fun Friday night. We had a bottle of wine. You had some whiskey. Good stuff. Good stuff all around. Thanks, everybody, for your stuff. Remember to hold the door open. Remember to say please and thank you. Remember, if you meet somebody and they're not so nice, give them the benefit of the doubt. Why? Because they might be a really nice person. And what if they aren't a nice person? You go, Dirk, I gave this person the benefit of the doubt. I don't know what to do. Should I be nice to them? What should I do? And you think to yourself, geez, what would I do if I was in Dirk's shoes? I'm not exactly sure. You know what? They might be a total